And we're recording. So
Nice.
I'm going to look at the mic. I'm going to look at the
camera.
See if I'm actually in this bitch. There I am.
Yeah, there you are. I can see you.
Okay. Basically, this is our first episode of Who Knows? And I think that's what the episode is going to be about, is we're just going to figure out this shit as we go along.
Exactly.
Have a few drinks, and it's the Shug.
See who knows.
Right?
Yeah.
All right. So I got I got a list of names.
Names. Okay.
And then let's just check to see if the mic levels and shit sound good.
Yeah.
Mine sound really good.
I can hear myself. I don't know if I'm too loud.
How about like your actual volume in your headphones?
My volume's fine. Yeah.
Okay. So everything sounds good.
I feel like I hear myself louder than I hear you though.
Which is okay.
That's fine.
As long as yeah. Looks like levels are good. This is the first time I've done any of this.
Yeah.
So this will be like people are watching us suck.
Yeah.
And that's good.
Yes, great. And then they critique us and they're like, you guys should just never do this again. And then we're going to be like, no, we're going to.
I think one person's
Wow.
going to say that. And his name rhymes with duh. Yeah. He's going to be like, don't ever do that.
Yeah, of course.
You guys are horrible.
Yeah.
We'll try to get right up there. Anyway, so what's the first topic? Obviously, we got to figure out what we want to name this. And
I don't know. I mean, what do we want to go with? Are we want to go with horror, and not horrors?
I was going to say, we can go with horse.
No.
And just name it that.
We can go with.
Just two horse.
That's fine. I'm fine with that.
So I guess, all right, so it was like the Shug and the syphilis one.
Oh, God. Yes, let's do it. Let's see how fast we can get canceled.
Yeah, it'd be instant. Well, this one was more for me, I guess, but I wrote it down because it's funny. The Logan experience.
I like that, too. I really do. I dig that. It
Yeah.
didn't even sound bad. Like, I'm like, all right, cool.
Well,
With the Shug.
obviously,
Then with the Shug.
yeah.
There you go.
Drinking, stankin', and skanking.
I love that one way more.
Oh my God. All right. So this one kind of just, actually, these two I've already done, but Flawed Cast Podcast, because we're flawed.
Oh,
and
yeah.
so are humans.
Oh, all of us are. Yeah, of course. I dig that too. We can talk about anything if we run with that.
And then the other one is just an inside joke, which there's going to be a lot of them. And people are going to be like, what? Not L and L and F and A, which that one's for Lyndon.
Yep.
My man.
These days we got to get him in here with us too, which is going to be hard because I know he's super busy. Like,
Well, I did talk to him a little bit, and he basically said, hey, I'm down. I know he's got a new relationship, and I haven't talked to him or seen him in a long time. But I know he's still doing Pit Lord. They're putting out stuff, and that's kind of, I don't know, like that's why. Okay, so this last one I think is what it's gonna be, because not only I love inside jokes, and we're gonna keep doing them.
oh yeah, forever.
But this one is like just makes sense with what we talk about for the most part, and it's wrestling with music, which super easy.
Yes.
I'm almost like maybe somebody's already got it.
Probably, but we're gonna mix in more than just wrestling and music, and that's my thing. Is like I went and did some podcast stuff with Merrick Brave, and like that's just strictly wrestling. I was like we were there and like we started having a good time.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, let's do a sidebar, and like women started coming up because they saw the microphones and stuff because we did it in pints. So like they started coming up.
Oh no, I heard this, and I'm gonna be honest with you, it sounded horrible.
Yeah, because it's at a bar, dude, and there's music.
Yeah,
and
I
stuff
couldn't
in the
do it.
background. It's I mean, to me, it's like
That was the downfall for me.
right, and
Because I'm such an audio nut, and like right now I'm hearing things that like right now I want to adjust, but I'm not gonna.
Right.
And then I'll just get better next time when I upload it, because I'm kind of trying to predict what it's gonna sound like later when it gets uploaded, because YouTube does its own thing.
right.
I don't know, but
But yeah, again, it was one of those things where I suggested because Meatloaf was being played in the background. I was like, well, let's bring up Meatloaf. And they're like, no, dude, it's wrestling podcast. I'm like, man, I want to talk about wrestling, music, and sometimes we'll splash in like horror movies. And like with horror, oh, that's terrible. Wow.
Flawedcast
Right
podcast
away.
with the Shug.
Wow.
Screwing it up,
One of the kids
brother.
One of the kids calling for no reason, I guarantee it.
That's okay. You can
texted me.
literally just turn it off, which
I'm
is
going to. That's
what
what I'm doing right now.
what he's gonna do, guys.
I'm gonna
And I'm gonna start talking like there's somebody here
I'm gonna
because there's a
mute
camera,
it.
and that's what we do, like
Exactly.
psychotic humans.
Oh my god. Like, I'm gonna mute it, and if it's that important, she'll text me or call me, which, who knows? No text, of course. Let's just call you, like... Anyways, what I was talking about was, I think, obviously with wrestling, music, and then I think any kind of movie, but like horror movies, I think coincide with society a lot easier.
So that's a good thing you said that. I was thinking maybe, and this seems long-winded though, but wrestling with music and life.
Yeah. I like
Because I
that.
feel like we get, I mean, we're both tangential.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, I'm probably worse than you. I don't know, but
You
we'll
are.
see. Son of a bitch. But yeah, and we could just call it tangential. That'd be fun. Tangentlemen.
I like that. And we're not tan at all. I'm pale as a ghost.
Well, he's Mexican, so he's tan. No, but yeah, and really, like I wrote down brief stuff because me and you just talk shit and we have a good time either way. It doesn't matter where the fuck we're at.
Right.
So now we're actually showing the world what we've done.
For
Dude, I met you when I was like 14.
It's like more than half our lives, dude, at this point. It's insane.
Right. So I just put like local music because we know a lot of buds, and I know there's like there's local stuff happening as far as that goes, like local stage. Trevor, who's awesome as shit. It's like
He had me on a few months back, actually.
Oh yeah, I've listened to it. Duh.
Yeah.
I'm like, duh. No, it's really good. Except for you didn't say anything about me, but that's fine.
Oh God, here we go.
Ego waffles for breakfast today. But I did put WWE, so we were just talking pre-hand,
Right?
and you said, hey, maybe I got to watch wrestling more, which is true. I haven't, and I've like kind of thought about it, and I go, man, this will give me an excuse, and I should. That sounds so bad.
Yeah, it does.
But like, I don't care because I'm being real.
Yeah, me too.
This is authenticity, and you can suck it.
Yeah.
But like when I look at it, yeah, I've thought about like how I need to get back into wrestling, and it doesn't like I've heard all this about AEW.
Yep.
I've watched nothing, so like I don't even know what day that's on.
It's what is it? I think it's on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, maybe, or no, Wednesdays. And I think they have a Thursday show.
I'll figure it out, right?
Yeah.
I'll get into it. But I'm just like, yeah, I got to get into that because like even Mike Shifrick knows more than I do.
Yeah, because
he said there's a guy named like MJF who's killing it, and I'm like, dude, what is he doing? He's like apparently is.
Well, he was blowing up like towards the tail end of me actually slowing down, and like I was hearing about him because he's a great promo. He's a really great promo, and like he actually. For a guy who's a great promo, a lot of times you hear about great promos and they're like, okay, cool, but they can't move worth a shit in the ring. Dude, he moves really well in the ring. He's not just a promo.
Right.
So, like, in the story that he's telling, this is the only thing I know because I've seen clips, but like the story he's telling with CM Punk and like how, well, I just saw the clip today, actually. CM Punk sitting cross-legged in the ring. Pulls out a picture. It's a real picture of MJF when he was like, I'm assuming he was like 12 or 13. Paid a bunch of money to get a picture taken with CM Punk, and now here he is talking all this crap about Punk, and he's in a feud with Punk, and I'm like, think about that in your head, like all those guys we ever looked up to, and we're like, okay, one day I'll be in the ring with that guy, like, we grew up with Colby, like for the fact that, like, when
we never grew up, and I hope he never did.
Yeah,
but, we're just a bunch of lost boys.
That's not even a lie. That's like for real. So, but like the fact that he got to everything that he's done is like so like even I saw a picture today. I don't even know if it was like a backstage picture or whatever. he's standing between Trish Stratus and Lita, and he's doing his Colt. I could hear his laugh in the
Oh yeah,
picture,
yeah.
like I could hear it,
Right.
and like I was just like, dude, think about us when we were kids. Like, never imagined like being on a show, being we imagined it, but never, you know what I mean? Like, just
Right.
thinking about it now, it's like, dude, you were living that dream that you had. It's
Right.
crazy. And
Yeah.
getting to work with Edge, that's the stuff that um is actually wanted me to get back into watching wrestling again, because I heard that their matches were just so good, and I'm like, all
Right.
right, now I got to check them out.
Yeah.
I want to see the whole feud from the beginning to the ending of it. So
I seen some of that. I would say I probably seen more of the Orton stuff with Edge because I think that was like last year or something like that during the pandemic.
yeah.
Uh, oh, we're canceled on
Well, we're
YouTube.
done.
Anyway, but yeah, they had like a really good match as far as like any falls count anywhere.
Right.
Edge is looking like $1,000,000 for his
Dude,
age. Got to
seriously.
get on that Mexican supplements,
I
buddy.
don't know
You're
if it's
Mexican, bro.
I don't know if it's that or that dude who's decided that. I mean, it's the smart thing nowadays. Is I think it was a mentality of, well, just '80s wrestling and '90s wrestling is like trying to be as big as you can,
Right.
and in the long run, that just there's no longevity in just being a jacked dude. I mean, besides when you step away from wrestling,
Yeah.
obviously you can be that guy
Right.
because they're not testing you. Just saying, I said it. I'm going to say it again. They're not testing you when you're an actor, so you can do whatever you want.
Awesome. I like those
So,
people.
yeah, I do too.
I like
'Cause,
them when they're jackter.
all right, like The Rock is the biggest and most jacked and most
Yep.
ripped he's ever been, and he's what, in his 50s?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and again, I guess let's kind of keep on track because I'm
Right, right.
like,
I'm going off.
no,
I'm
this is
going
what we
off.
do. I already said this is what we're
Off
gonna
the
do, bro.
rails
Literally, we're gonna do it over and
all the
over and
time.
over and over and over and over. But we have like obviously we have something in common, and we kind of don't, I guess. Obviously, you've been pro wrestling for
Oh man, I don't actually. I'd have to try to add it all up. I was performing in front of people. I mean, you were on that first SCW show where we basically knew how to bump and we knew certain steps to how to perform a wrestling
yeah, but
match.
that's
You
not
know what I'm saying?
professional. I
No,
mean, we were
exactly.
backyard, we were
Yeah,
barnyard, whatever the hell you want to call
right.
it.
But we got our hands on a professional wrestling ring, so I don't count that as my.
Nothing.
I count it
I
as
mean, it's something.
performing in front of
Right.
people, but it wasn't a pro wrestler.
Right. So being
So
trained, how long has that been?
I finished training around the same time I finished high school, which was 2006. And between then, minus injuries of like my breaking my leg and my ankle, um, I think I legit thought I was going to stop wrestling, and I walked away for a year and a half.
Yeah.
Which there was a bet amongst our friends, and I think somebody won a bet. I don't know who won that bet, but it was a bet.
I was working at a casino, but I didn't give a shit about anything because I knew you're just too damn stubborn to do anything like quit anything. It'll take a little bit, but you'll get back into
Right.
it.
So what it came down to is if you're going to walk away from something, you have to walk away from it completely. So they brought me in, did the Hall of Fame thing, and my trainer Danny was inducted into the SCW Hall of Fame the same night I was.
Right.
And then like he was like, I come to the ring, I get my pop, and he's like, you missed that, you missed that. I mean, the crowd can't hear this, but I can hear it,
Yeah.
and I'm like, all right, all right. So, anyways, long story short, things didn't work out. I thought wrestling and stopping wrestling was gonna fix a problem that it didn't fix.
Right.
So, I took my son and what would be my ex's nephew, but I still consider him my nephew, to a wrestling show. And me being there, they announced my name and people popped or whatever. And then, like, a year and a half away. So, and then they popped and they're like, Merrick Brave walked up to me and he goes, "Hey, we have this idea." I'm like, "I'm in." He didn't even finish the pitch, man. I was like,
It was some
bro,
really hot chick. I'm in. Let's do it.
No, it didn't even. His arms wheeling back, and I'm like, all right, yeah, all right, here it comes. I'm in, man. And he was like, all right, cool.
I'm the Shug, so bring her on.
Yeah, that's it. That's what it was. So like, and I've been wrestling since. It's crazy. Like, I mean, but when you only wrestle locally,
So what? How many years? That's all I
oh
ask.
my god, dude, I'm trying to.
It's all
as
good.
I'm telling the stories of me,
Dude, we got
walking
plenty
away.
of time to tell everything.
All right, so
You know what I'm saying?
wow, 2006. I think when I broke my leg,
Probably like 18, right? If we're just guessing.
oh man, I don't
all
know.
together.
Yeah, at least 15.
Okay, at least 15. Something like that.
With injuries and walking away and then retiring and then coming back. I don't know, maybe 15, 16 years. It's crazy to think about.
So I did watch your match from last night.
Yeah.
It was pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't know the other dude. I think it was Lars.
Metzger.
Okay.
And
Looked like a big dude.
He's a big dude. And
Yeah.
the crazy thing is, during the match, he was having like gear malfunctions.
Oh.
Because he had.
I was noticing that.
Right. He had lost 30 pounds, and he thought his stuff was still gonna fit him.
Oh.
And like it was just trying to fall off him the whole time. So, but like he's still he's been in the business for 5 years, but during that 5 years there was the pandemic happened where he's not wrestling and
Right.
he only
No,
wrestles
he did really good, and I mean, my limited knowledge, I just don't like watching anyone. I don't care if it's a man or a woman, not look aggressive, because
Right.
I'm obviously like my shit was the Attitude Era mixed with whatever ruthless aggression, where it's like
Right.
every wrestler literally like it didn't look like they had a pause where they were like, what am I doing next? They just grabbed somebody like right away, and
Right,
that's
right.
like, be aggressive. That's the only thing I ever like get down on. Like, hate to say this, this sounds sexist, but women in general, like, and when I watch them, they don't do that. And I'm like, what? I'm not a professional wrestler. I'm just like, when I watch it, I just cringe when women are like, what do I do? And they don't grab. Just grab the fucking person.
Or you can see
Yeah.
that pause, like the deer
Yeah.
in the headlights. You know what I mean?
Deer in the headlights. That's the perfect way to say it.
It's like,
Right. Right.
oh shit, I forgot
Yeah.
the spot. And then that gives it away. Like, and we all know that wrestling's a show, but like when people watch,
But there has to be a realism to it.
right.
So if you're in a real fight, you never stop touching the other person. When you first started touching the person, you're like, it doesn't stop until somebody else is like, all right, you're messed up.
Right.
So like when I watch pro wrestling since forever ago, since I can remember, all I remember was guys that grabbed a guy right away when they didn't know what the hell to do. They were like, all right, we'll figure it out. And that's the thing. I don't know what psychology is or anything, but I just picked up on that. And I know we did backyard wrestling, and I know, like, I've heard Colbster and whatever, Seth Rollins, whatever.
Right.
I've heard him in interviews say, like, we kind of know what we were doing.
Yeah, dude.
And that makes me feel really good, because I did study a lot.
Right.
Like, I would actually watch Japanese wrestling before that was even a thing. I watched
We're watching Hayabusa.
oh my god, Hayabusa, Tiger Mask,
Yeah, dude. Wait, dude.
Dynamite Kid. There's so many that you went back and you were like, oh, these guys were like super aggressive and they just beat the shit out of each other, and I love that. I was like, this is cool. And then I think, well, if we're in a backyard, we don't have ropes, we don't have a ring, so the only way to make this real is like not look like a deer in the headlights. You have to grab somebody right away.
And then you take away the aspect of being able to throw somebody off the ropes.
Yeah.
Because that's out the window. So like
So I think you'll agree with me that our backyard wrestling is better than what you guys do.
Yeah.
EHW.
They also say that that's more of an old school way with like holds and stuff.
Yeah.
Think about the Heart Dungeon, and you've seen the videos. There's no ropes.
Mm-hmm.
They're not throwing you off of anything for you to pretend like you're bouncing off something. You have to learn in-ring work,
Right.
and ring placement before you learn ropes.
Yeah.
And like I think like stuff like that like is important. The part of being able to grab a hold of somebody and make it real.
Yeah.
And like Danny taught us, like, here's how you work it, here's how it's shoot.
We definitely weren't like that. I mean, I know. I'm just like, I'm thinking about like, okay, so
running
one of the
spots and make him look
running
without
spots
ropes,
was hilarious
without ropes.
because it was just, it wasn't like I threw him that far though,
Right.
but it was like, all right, he's gonna turn around if I try to throw him. Like in real life, I've seen dudes shove a dude or something and it works. So that, but that's obviously not gonna work.
Even in folk style wrestling, they call it an arm drag, but in pro wrestling it's completely different. But an arm drag is basically an Irish whip.
Right.
It's grab the wrist and shoot the arm to try to get behind them, and it does work. Like you can move a body like that if you have the momentum.
Right.
So it's not like too far fetched.
Right. And I think again, we were kind of just explaining in a roundabout way right there.
Yeah.
How the hell we met? Because and again, there's two different stories because obviously two different people. But my let's not use names of people. I'm trying not to use names of people because I don't know if I don't even know if they're alive, man. I don't fucking have. Let's just say there was a girl named Ashy Slashy.
Yeah.
Okay, that'll be her name because we're horror people.
Yeah.
Anyway, Ashy Slashy, close enough to the real name.
Yep.
I thought as a young buck, this is probably what, 6th grade, that I was in love with the first human I was in.
This would have been 8th grade for me. So no.
Dude, you'd have been in 7th.
Yeah, dude, you're right. It was like 7th grade. You're right. You're right.
So 8th grade for me, then 7th grade for her, I think. But anyway, I just remember I was in love. Obviously, I'm in love with her forever.
I was still, I was still with her on my Snapchat.
Wow.
I'm not even gonna lie.
That's the Shug. So anyway, don't know that there's a Shuggy Woogie Bear out there. Don't know who the Shug is at all.
Right.
And of course, I finally get her to agree to come down to B-Town, where the backyard is awesome. Well, I had broken my leg, and I was in a wheelchair. And long story short, maybe Colpster gets all the girls.
Of course.
Inside joke. So anyway, little do I know that, probably a month or two after this, we weren't really dating. I don't think she even cared. And I really didn't care that we weren't all of a sudden dating because I didn't know we were even dating. I don't know. We're just kids. You're doing stuff in a barn, I think, at that time. And so I don't know how that happens. My memory is pretty foggy of most of the stuff, but I remember all of a sudden, I know I'm playing shows that year with Cynical.
Yes, it was Cynical.
And because I know I wasn't a freshman in high school when we started. I think I was just about to be a freshman in high school, and then I joined that band. Or I could have got that wrong too.
No, dude, I think you're right because I had went through all my junior high while still being friends with you. Well, my 8th grade year, while still being friends with you guys the entire time. Okay. So that makes sense to me.
So I remember you being in a barn when we show up one time, and I think Colpster, just being Colpster, grabbed your CDs or something and was like, "What do you like?"
Remember that?
Ah, you loser.
Remember when? Because kids nowadays have no idea that you had to carry a case. With
I didn't.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
I was way too poor to even have a case.
And me even saying a trapper keeper. What's a trapper keeper?
Right.
So basically, it's a big thing that you can stick CDs in, and there were sleeves for the CDs, and it was huge. And you could unzip it.
Pour me some of that.
You could. All right. So basically, you could unzip it, and then you could see.
He's not peeing. He's pouring me a little bit of his drink because I drink a lot faster than him because he's a wuss.
He always does. But so you could unzip it, and he just starts going through my CDs, and I'm like, he's because I look like honestly, I think I was wearing a polo sweatshirt.
Polo, you're probably wearing polo because you fucking have 50,000 colognes.
Jesus, but anyways, so. No, I looked like a prep. You would have never for real. I
haven't heard the word prep.
A bro. That's it. That's the only
Well,
one they call guys.
so then I would have been a freak because I have long hair at the time.
Or a metalhead.
Metalhead, I
That's the
guess,
three.
but I don't remember that being said in
That's the
high
thing.
school. Was it?
Well, I think a generation above us, like I would listen to guys talk in their lingo of like there's
Yeah.
bro dudes. Like I looked like a bro dude. I looked like a prep.
Right.
So like when Colby's going through my CDs and he's seeing like, System of a Down.
Right.
I had every Metallica album besides like the garage stuff and like Pantera, and he's just like looking at me like, really? And then like when I wrestled bruh, like nothing was called. Like wrestled. We didn't know what the fuck we were doing.
Well, nothing should have ever been called.
No.
You know?
No.
Because nobody's even
The
there.
ending. Yeah, right. I'll see you out there.
Do
kid.
your move.
What's that one thing you do? Okay, I see you out there.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, I come out to looking the way I did.
Right.
Just come out to by Demons Be Driven by Pantera.
Yep.
So there, I'm sure Colby and Bro were like, "What the fuck? What is that, dude?" Like,
Right.
So then Colby's going through my shit, and like, I had what did I have? I think I had
God forbid is what won me over.
right.
Because I remember correctly going, oh, he likes Pantera, I already like him.
Right.
But I seen God forbid, and I was like,
Determination. Yeah.
okay, and Kill Switch.
Yep. And then I had Kill Switch Engage,
Yeah.
Alive or Just Breathing.
Yep.
And I think it was Derek. Derek borrowed. I don't know if it was my God Forbid. He borrowed my God Forbid for quite a while.
Right.
Like but it was just crazy. And then I think I even had Meshuggah.
Yeah.
What was it? What's the one album? Collapse.
Contradictions Collapse.
Yes.
Yeah.
I had that one.
Yeah.
So like again, people were like, you look at somebody, you can't always judge them by the way they look.
Well, you had a metal shirt on though, I think.
Underneath.
Okay, but you showed me it.
Right.
And I remember probably having a metal shirt, probably Metallica or something. I don't know, because I was a fucking scrub. You know? But I do remember, though, that we it was just had the same likes.
Yeah.
Right? And the same dislikes. I think that was another thing, too, a lot of people don't think about is that
Right.
you got to have a lot of the same dislikes.
Yeah.
But also the fact that, like, we were so into wrestling at the time, it was like, what is this? This is weird that we're meeting this guy. And our group was so tightly knitted,
Yeah.
you know, Mike, Derek, obviously Colbster, bruh, me.
Yep.
And, Micah Greer, a few other people that, like, would come around. Justin Koontz would come around, Josh Downs. These were good buds from Buffalo. And, like, they'd stay over, but it was, like, a one-off, you know, because they weren't like into pro wrestling like we were, you know, like freaks. And they also don't have the like huge metal thing where I'm like trying to find like new bands. Like at that time I was like looking for like a Magica, which I don't even know if you remember that, but that's just like a power metal weird thing. And I'm like, oh man. And then obviously like Iced Earth and all that.
Yep.
But you got an Iced Earth. You see, and you had a lot of those. Yeah. And I was like, dang, dude, he's really into stuff, you know? And like, I think one of the bands I didn't like, I got into it, obviously, but like, I mean, like, I think you actually had a Slayer album I hadn't listened to. That was probably one thing. That
Chemical Warfare?
Yeah. And I was like, what? Or no.
Yeah, it was,
I can't remember.
Something Chapel.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, buddy, it was like an EP.
No, that's okay. As soon as you said that, I'm like, no, that's Testament. That was another band too. So maybe I'm thinking of Testament. Anyway, my memory's horrible.
I did have a best of Testament pre like their like death metal vocal stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you were really cool until you liked Anthrax, and then I was like, oh, okay. Well, I guess we can't be friends anymore.
Anthrax is still rad, bro.
I know they are.
Stop.
Yeah, because they didn't know how to party like everybody else.
Not only that, the drummer is pulling.
I'm just kidding. I recognize that Anthrax is literally original. But I also know that I don't get into them. So it's very much like
it is, right?
It's like Megadeth. I love Megadeth for like the 4 songs that I love.
Yes.
And then I'm like, man, I don't know. I just don't listen to it. And again, you still know that they're
but
super original, and Dave Mustaine was like ahead of his time, and he was doing shit that, like, obviously without Dave Mustaine, there is no James Hetfield, and
like
without James Hetfield, there's probably no Dave Mustaine. I don't know.
there would have been like a lot of stuff that would have never happened if those two
Right.
dudes didn't meet. Like it's crazy to think about, but
So I would say too that around that same time, because I wasn't cynical and I was literally playing the music that was in your case,
right.
covering it. Sorry.
Yes.
And our band was great. I mean,
Yeah.
Ryan Hobbs, everybody was good.
Dude, I really liked your like Never Was the Day original.
Right.
I fucking loved it.
Yeah.
Like,
That was that was Derek. That was
Yeah?
completely different. So that was Channel Brutality.
oh, you're right.
Yeah,
Wait, I thought Never.
That was an original from Channel Brutality.
So Cynical.
Cynical
was
had
only-
originals, and again.
First come, first serve.
But
That's Cynical. That's right.
But Cynical also had like so many influences that the songs were basically songs we have heard of,
Almost ripped.
and
off,
that
right.
we're. But I don't know. I guess we could use that. But I don't think it was intentional now.
No.
Just now that I actually make music now, or I've been making music since then. But I mean, like, since I've gotten better at guitar, better at bass, or whatever,
Right.
when you write something, sometimes you just go, "Oh crap, that's whatever.
Right,
Why did I
because-
just do that?" And it just, I don't know what you call that. You're borrowing.
It happens with wrestling as well.
Right.
Like
You can't not.
you've been watching something so much.
Mm-hmm.
So you come up with an idea and then like you switch it a little bit and then you go back and watch something that you've been watching. Maybe it was like 2 months ago you watched it and you're like,
Right.
oh damn, I almost blatantly stole that, but changed it in a little bit, but
Right.
it was almost the same. But what I heard, who was it? It was an interview with, I can't remember what vocalist it was in a band. He was like, I don't listen to metal music anymore because I feel like if I do, I might on accident steal something from them.
Okay, so in when you're like in writing mode,
Right.
maybe give yourself a day so that you don't steal. I guess that's
Right.
what I've done for myself. But like that, whoever that is a little bitch, because
Yeah, probably.
you can do any. Just like know that you're like, be mindful, Or maybe it's because I have a pretty good memory of the things I like, but there's so many things I haven't listened to too.
Right.
Like
Right.
if Lyndon were here, this is a prime example,
Yeah.
he would show us 8,000 bands I haven't heard of yet.
Dude, you know what's crazy?
Four of which I would probably be like, oh, this is cool, because I'm pretty picky too, and I know he's probably it's like weird because
But he's going.
he seems to be
backtracking.
like the least picky, right?
Oh yeah, for
But
sure.
he's still picky.
Oh,
It's just he has more of a discography,
so he's.
And I
actually-
don't want to put words in his mouth because he's not here.
But
But my name's Lyndon. I talk like this.
only like that when he's really drunk.
Now I talk like this all the time. Screw you.
But what was it? I think I came down for his birthday party and he was wearing a Dockin like patch on the back of his vest. I was like, bro,
That
Dokken?
does not surprise me.
What? And
Yeah.
he was like, yeah, bro, they're so good. I was like, my dad got me into I had the best of Dockin when I met you.
Yeah.
Like that was probably a CD. You're like,
Yeah.
oh god, that's one of the ones. Like,
No, really good musicians. I just, it's not a go-to, of course, at that
Right.
time. I'm trying to find
But
like death
also-
metal at that time, by the way. So I think that was a big thing. Was I was trying to listen to what's the more extreme. Okay, that's extreme. How is it more extreme? And I think like obviously Cannibal Corpse. A lot of death metal comes in the phrase vehemence.
Yep.
Just these are like God was
Dude,
created.
that song to this day still hits, bro. That shit is cool.
And I mean, there were so many of them that were starting to like, okay, yeah, we like death metal.
But then we got into like,
and-
I think you would say, Cryptopsy was death metal, but
Yes.
the vocals that
Mike
I
Dis-
heard,
yeah.
first time I heard was "And Then You'll Beg."
Mhm.
I bought that CD at a metal show, and like I was just like, dude, this is so cool. It's so
Right.
different. It was like hardcore vocals over death metal music, which was so cool.
which made sense because Mike DeSalvo, the singer, was obviously in a hardcore band, I believe, or he worked. I know he wrote for a hardcore magazine, still does. But it's kind of it's like when we look at how we met, to come back to that.
Yeah.
It was kind of, and I hate to say this because I just literally listened to God forbid,
When we were walking
about
in.
destiny. It's literal destiny, like where we're like, holy shit, we're gonna be best buds for life,
Yeah, for real.
And a lot of people can't say that.
Dude, that's so funny, because somebody just said that, like what they were like. They asked me, or like, "Are you still friends with all those guys?" Like, I'm like, "Yeah, man. I'm still friends with Logan. I'm still friends with bruh. Like, don't I mean Colby's a busy guy. I mean, if I
Right.
text Colby, I'll still talk to him. He still
Oh,
texts
he'll
me.
text you back.
So like, and then Derek. Obviously, I just went and did help on a remodel for his house.
Yeah.
And you helped break
Right.
up all the concrete and stuff.
Oh, that was fun.
Yeah, and not fun is what you mean.
Well, I guess it was fun because Derek's, especially, like, I'm just being honest, man. His cardio was like amazing, which he
Yeah.
does jujitsu and he's kicking butt. He's kicking butt, but like, he pretty much did the heavy work,
Yeah.
and I just drank. I'll just be honest with you. It still sucked. You're breathing in dust,
Well, that's why it's good to have.
In God we trust.
Right.
My mummy dust. Obviously Ghost is with their new stuff. I did write that down, by the way, new stuff, and that really means just shitting on something or liking something new. Anyway, but we're not gonna do that, obviously.
Okay. But also, obviously, I'm still friends with Mike, who I'm gonna say this, and I'll look at the camera when I say this. If you really wanted it, you'd be right there with Colby, because you were just as good and you were more charismatic. And that's not a joke. And everyone knows it that was there at the time.
I feel like he was buff enough.
He was. Which, that's another inside joke. All right, whatever. Look it up.
Not really. He literally was in a tag team, right?
Yeah,
buff enough.
But
yeah. And Regal.
To find the
who's
lure.
still doing stuff.
Yeah.
You know what's okay? I used to, as a kid, I don't know, because I think we had a rivalry, EHW and SCW, right? I didn't really give a shit, but because they came to my shows and it was awesome, and I whatever. But like we had a rival in the sense that we were like we're us and you are you, and you guys are doing the same thing we're doing, and we're going to do it better,
right?
And it was just a competitive thing.
Yeah.
But I do remember like, just seeing Regal and Chris Laritzen, right? Who and I just seen him on your match, and I was like, it makes me feel so good that they're still doing stuff, man. He was refereeing and he was doing a good job, it looked like, and I'm like, dude, that's awesome.
Right.
I praise more people that continue to do stuff, and a lot of things like, okay, for me, what was the last time I played a show? Man, probably 5 years now,
right?
Maybe 6. And it was like in that show, I believe, I could be wrong, Derek even said, hey, well, maybe not. This was like a few weeks or month before that or something like that. This is Logan's first show in 6 years or whatever. And I'm like, oh, so it's like another 6 years.
Here comes the bus. The story.
Right. Well, no, in a sense, I'm like, I'm going, oh man, well, that sucks. But in my head, I've been playing shows every weekend, because people don't see like what you do. Like when you're making music, and you're learning, and I'm doing it by myself in a sense, like where I'm not, I'm mixing and mastering and doing all that, and I'm trying to learn that, and I'm such a perfectionist, right? So when it comes down to, though, is like we had this ability, though, especially in Cynical, to kind of bridge the gap. I know I'm coming back to our story.
Yeah.
I know I'm kind of skipping stuff and we're doing stuff, but I want to get back to like how we met and that time, because this is the first podcast, me and you. So it's like, okay, we should probably talk about like our early days and why we're so close.
Right.
I can literally not see you for like a year.
Yeah.
And then when we see each other, it's like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
What's up, bud?
Yeah.
And like everything's like completely the same. Like we can just we have the same humor. That's probably another thing.
Yes.
If you didn't have the same humor growing up with somebody, like I don't think you talk to them anymore.
No. No.
As an adult.
No, because like with the ex, sometimes I'll say a joke. Nope.
Is this gonna get you in trouble?
Nope. No, I'm just saying.
I'm
like,
just messing with you.
I would say something and
Right.
think it was hilarious, and I'd be laughing at my own joke, which is already bad enough. But then she's just.
You're gonna notice me doing that a lot,
She's
buddy.
oh,
My whole life.
she's just looking at me like, nope, nope, no, not funny.
Right.
Okay, well, not to you. I wish my friend Logan was here because he would have laughed at that.
I'd be like, he fell down a brook. I'm sorry. Anyway, Stromley, which she would like, I think.
Oh God.
But yeah, it really when it comes down to like we had so many things in common, and I do remember too, like especially like oh man, what's his last name? But Steve from SCW. Holsing.
Yeah.
I didn't want to say Pulsing because that was in my. I know his last name. I'm just old.
He's not
anyway.
gonna care. Trust me, he's
Steve,
gonna actually be
dude,
cool with it.
coolest dude in the world.
Yeah.
He literally made a cynical shirt himself.
Yeah, he did.
And he wore that shit while he was wrestling, and I was like, I couldn't be more proud.
Right,
you know.
dude.
So Steve, couldn't be more proud, man. Probably never got to tell you that, but. Obviously you had Ryan, Tappendorf, and all them guys, and they would come to the show, and you'd be like, what the hell? These guys are literally actually into metal. And it was just a scene, is what I was getting at. I think we made a scene in towns, because that's Donahue, right? SEW.
Right.
But we also have Buffalo, not too far. And then we have now you have like Walcott.
Yep.
So it's like, all the surrounding towns finally just woke up to like, maybe we need some entertainment or something, and again, yeah, you do. You're in a small town. I grew up in a small town, and it was like we had to entertain ourselves. We had to figure out what is the next thing, Like I tell people, I put the buff in Buffalo. I did, man. At that time, I was looking
Just
too perfect.
Running until you pass out in somebody's yard. Yeah. So buff and buff.
Oh man, I wish that guy he was on the podcast and it was some random guy that was like, yeah, the kid passed out in my yard. Yeah, it happened. So that anyway. So we obviously we have a lot of things that we grew up with, but it was like more. I think we were all kind of going towards the same thing, which in my opinion was that I think at the time. We were all trying to be something.
Yes.
So, if I can sum it up, that's obvious to somebody listening now. It's like, yeah, but it's not obvious when you're a kid.
No.
You just kind of live day to day, and you're like, okay. But then, when you meet these like-minded kids, I was actually talking about this with Alicia last night. It makes you go, no, I think because they say I can actually do. Right. And so, when you have somebody like Steve who's wearing a cynical shirt, I'm like, dude, he's doing something cool too. He's wrestling and he likes what I do. I'm going to be a rock star. Right. You know what I mean? It feeds the ego.
It does.
And without that though, you don't do anything.
Right.
If nobody tells you you're good, you're just kind of be like, yeah, I guess I'm not good. But everybody in our group told each other that we were good. But so this is kind of the opposite coin. We also shit on each other so much. And we still today shit on each other. And I think that's what's missing in our society. And I don't want to get broader. I just want to be just, No. But I'm just saying I used to try to make fun of my friends so much. I wanted them to cry. And if they did, I won. You know what I mean? We were little bullies within our own thing. And you joined it. You joined our fray. I want to get back to that because that was the first person, the first outsider, right, who wasn't from Buffalo, didn't have a shit clue about anything about EHW at the time, and other than us coming to the barn.
Right.
And then, you come over, and it's you're meeting some scoundrels, bro. But you knew scoundrels, but I'm saying, you're meeting some crazy bros that all they do is try to fuck with each other the whole time, and you're going to become the brunt of the shit.
Sure did for
Talk
years.
About
it. It didn't. All right. So later on in life, I realized that it was an easy target because I was the shortest fuse because, legit, I will say that I have the small man syndrome. I'm not a
Right.
tall dude, especially all you assholes who are already taller than me. So I
Yeah.
like be around a bunch of tall guys. So my fuse was like this. So it didn't mean it was like one thing like off the handles, like vein popping out of my neck, veins popping out of my forehead, and then like, obviously you guys are all laughing, but at the same time, come to find out, like stuff like that. Everybody thinks it's bullying, but what it comes down to, it's mentally hardening. So like body hardening is
Yeah.
something you learn through even martial arts or stuff
Or
like that.
bumping
Bumping. So
over
like
and over and over.
exactly. So like mentally hardening me is like all the stuff you guys poking fun or whatever.
Right.
It builds you to the point where you're like, I'm stoned, like but that's not even true. I still have this big of a fuse. Well, wait, maybe that much, but still. But it still has built me to the point where it's like mentally, like you can throw a fireball at me, and I'm like, yeah, well,
And you'll drink it.
yeah, I'll drink it, of course. but but like,
Alicia, where's the fireball?
yeah, where's it at?
I literally have fireball.
No joke. Are you serious?
Maybe. I don't know.
But legit, it mentally built me to a point where, it gets to a point where it's like the worst thing you can say to me is not the worst thing you can say to me because my
Right.
best friends have already said it to me.
It's just, first and foremost, I think we already had a thick skin, and it was a bunch of thick-skinned humans trying to make your skin thicker.
Right.
That's
Right, right,
probably
right.
the best way to say it, and I still continue to do that
Wait.
with Lyndon, who had a thick skin before I met him, and then I would just be like, Lyndon, you're a little asshole, whatever it was, and he still loves me, and that's what it is. It's like you build that camaraderie through thick skin.
So you know what compares me to now that I think of metal music is I
Yeah.
was like Jason Newsted, but you guys didn't lose a member. I was the Jason Newsted, the new guy. Not that you lost someone, but I
Well,
was
no,
coming into something new.
to correct.
Really?
We didn't lose Micah Greer, but we did have to kick him out of our band. And I think that definitely drew a rift into it. So Micah would come over pretty often, I guess, for somebody who was an outsider and stay over and stuff like that. And, that kind of actually did happen where we did have like kind of a spot for
Right.
you. Not a dog spot, not a liver spot, not a,
Yeah, gotcha.
sorry, NWO. There's going to be a lot of wrestling references.
Fucking too sweet, baby.
Hell yeah. But I think when we were kids, obviously we didn't understand like anything at all. And what's cool is like how we grew up. So a lot of people don't grow up how we grow up now.
No.
And so that really sucks. But I think they can come back to that. It's just when you get into a group, and obviously mine was like it's my family, but it's also like, obviously I got some friends I still talk to, but like we had this thing that was indestructible, and still, in my opinion, it's still indestructible. And like maybe I don't see them every day or talk to them every day,
Right.
but because some of us have families, some of us are literally the best pro wrestler on the earth.
Right.
Some of us are second best pro wrestler on the earth.
Stop.
Just needs to be 6'4",
Yeah,
400,
only.
450 pounds of pure muscle. And really when we were young, I don't ever remember me saying that you're not gonna make it. And I do remember thinking to myself, though, like maybe, of course, music is going to be a lot harder for me because I also, and this is maybe something that people don't know,
Right.
I wanted to be a pro wrestler. I think, my stance on being a musician was a lot greater. And that's what got my goat, as they say.
Right.
But it's the same thing. There's an electricity. And I do remember, being in SCW, and they're like, "Hey, we're not going to have you wrestle. We're going to have you be a ref.
Which is insane because you were taller than everybody else in the locker room.
Well, no, I wasn't. Ryan Chappendorf looked down on my fucking head.
That's the only person.
Yeah. Well, and again, like at that time, I don't think I had fully. I don't know. Maybe I didn't accept that like we weren't going to do EHW all the time and stuff because like Hollister and like Mike and stuff were obviously like they're. Yeah, I want to wrestle in a ring, and I'm like, I want to wrestle in a ring, but I also don't mind doing the backyard, you know.
Right.
But I looked at it kind of like, okay, so that was kind of like my slight was like, hey, we're just going to have you do ref. And again, by the way, I don't think anybody was against me. I just was like offered that, like, hey, we only have so many spots, so you're the ref. And it was like, okay, well, I think I'm better. Well, in my head, I'm like, well, I definitely had fun with it. But in my head, that you can't even talk about it, really. Nope. We'll probably get stricken from YouTube. But at the same time, there's people still
hasn't happened.
Right,
There's never been, like, they've never had a referee that was
my name was Big Gay Jeff the ref. I don't give a shit. Obviously, at the time, I'm not gay.
Right.
Who cares? But at the time, people were saying that like it was a comma to everything. Right. Everywhere. Doesn't matter.
Right.
And, again, I wasn't trying to take away from the match. Looking back now, psychology-wise, that was awful. Yeah. Like, you should never have a fucking ref do shit.
Nope.
You know, so let's just say Chris Lorenzen, I just watched you last night. You're 1,000 times better as a ref, even though every time I seen him, because we worked together, he would literally be like, BK Jeff ref, that was amazing. Nah, dude, you were amazing. You did your job exactly how you're supposed to do it. But long story short, I would look at it and I go, okay, well, I guess that's just the end of this. And I don't know why I did that. I was probably just a young buck tries like, oh, I'm stupid.
But
you know?
again, though, like with anything, you could, when you think there's the end of something, there's always a way of like changing.
Right.
You just change the direction. And if you want it, you can have it.
Well, they didn't want Cyclown, I think.
Which would have been awesome, honestly.
Well, you're telling me because
years later in life.
Did they not want Cyclown? Because I don't know.
Yeah. I think that I did.
Okay.
I think that if we would have had a character like that, it'd have been great. Because years later on, I met a great dude, Yabo the Clown, who literally would show up. No joke. Shows up.
Did you just say Jabo the Clown or Yabo?
Yabo.
Oh, that'd be so cool. Jabo the Clown, though. He just jobs on purpose.
No.
Oh my God, he just walks out there he's like huge, and you think he's gonna kill somebody, and he just lays down. It's not even a match, and he lets people beat him. Jabo.
That's pretty funny. But like legit, Yabo the Clown would show up. Dude showed up in makeup.
Right.
Left in makeup.
Nice.
Never took it off. Like lived the gimmick.
Hopefully he wasn't like a pedophile or something weird, and you're like, what the fuck? Okay.
I just saw him not that long ago at Marcus's wake. So.
Oh, okay.
I had to look at him because he had a mask on, and all I could see was his eyes.
Right.
So I was like, dude, Yabo? And he was like, what up, man? And I was like, dude, hugged him. I hadn't seen him in so long. And his brother is a pro wrestler too, Rough Crossings.
Yeah.
Dude, you love Rough because he's
Rough.
You've never met him. He's a metalhead.
Yeah.
So like one night we were out, he's wearing a Campbell Corpse shirt. And I'm like, dude, you listen to Pantera? He's like, bro, they're my favorite band. I was like, we're sitting at the bar. I'm like, Black Tooth Grin. He goes, yep.
Smile with Black Tooth Grin. Yeah.
So we did like
Dave Mustaine.
Yeah. We did so many of those.
Yeah.
Because, like, obviously...
I don't know how many we've done in our career of Black Tooth. I have a few Black Tooth.
Yeah, I think so. I think somewhere back there.
Yeah. Take it out, buddy. Anyway.
But, yeah. No, Yabo the Clown. So, Cyclown would have been over. And
well,
think
let me tell you my vision, because it never happened.
Right.
I only probably expressed this with maybe, like, Derek or something, but, like, it's just like a random thought that was in my head. Because at the time, I'm still in high school, and like my thing is, I'm drawing stick figures to do moves I haven't seen. So I'm like really into wrestling, where I'm like trying to figure out, okay, four corners, and I want to like do these moves, and I I don't know what was weird. It was really weird to me that bumping on the ground wasn't as bad because I probably got used to it as bumping in the ring. But I think it was because I was not doing it right.
Yes.
I was literally slamming my head and my neck on the ground and trying to like shoot my feet up every time.
Right.
And I would walk away and go, oh, man, I feel kind of weird and woozy. And I'd be like, yeah, because I probably, I'm doing it the best. That's why. Like, these idiots don't know how to pro wrestle. I'm literally landing on my neck. Like, what an idiot. And like, Colster's doing it, but Colster's doing it like with finesse in a weird way.
Right.
And he's not even trained yet. But like, Mike too, like, it's like, but it still hurt. It's like me and Mike were just talking about this. This fucking sucked. What are we doing? But my whole thing with Cyclone was like, at the time, I hadn't seen anybody like, other than like, man, never mind. I say I haven't seen anybody. I've seen so many people do what I'm about to say. So let me just scratch that off the record. But like, I wanted to be the character that like, my image of this is literally, you're going to have to put yourself into this. I wanted to go under the ring before the show even started.
Right.
And I wanted to have my whole costume on, right? And then Mike and Colby's match, I just wanted to slowly, and I want, those, what are they? I don't even know what they're calling, but you use them to get underneath your car.
Oh,
and it's got.
The funny thing is, they're called a creeper.
Okay, yeah. Oh, this would have been so creepy. This is literally perfect. God, you can't make this up, God.
It is perfect because I know.
Hey, God. Hey, God. EHW's God. You can't make this up.
I'm just gonna.
Anyway,
this is all.
Oh my God. Oh
right
no.
now.
I have so many ideas like this because I'm an entertainer and I know like sound and I know visual and whatever. Maybe not visual. I'm not as good with that, but sound. I'm really good with the sound field.
More like kind of
like right now it sounds great, but I don't know what it's gonna sound like on YouTube, so I'm gonna have to adjust it later, and that scares me. But it also makes me feel really good because it's something I got to learn.
Right.
But okay, so I thought it would be cool. I remember the match that they had with Jeff Hardy because I think it was before this. I could be wrong. My scale is off, but I'm pretty sure it was. Where they did the ladder match and they had the above ring camera.
Oh yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So I wanted literally an above ring camera. None of this was available for SCW's first show at freaking St. Mark's Church. But in my head, this is how I seen it.
Right.
Now it still would have been really creepy for people that are sitting like 5 rows. But they might have jumped.
Right.
And that's what I wanted. But I wanted to be on that, and then all of a sudden, I just shoot out.
Dude, you would have freaked so.
And I want to push hard, and I want to know where there's like a little gap where there's no people, right? Because like it was open, so there wasn't like a gate there.
Right.
Like WWE has a big old thing. It'd still be creepy.
There's no guardrails.
But like you just shoot out for no reason.
Dude, can you imagine like a little girl's like,
and then
you come out with your fucking face paint on and everything? Like, oh, dude.
Exactly.
You would have ruined her whole world.
And then I get up and I just like people are just like, there's a match going on and it's really good, and I just ruin it, And then I just get up and I'm just like talking to people. I'm like, what is this? What are we watching?
Right.
What is this? And I just do 2 or 3 different characters in my head. But like, I wanted to interrupt Mike in Colby's match that way and just make it really weird. Instead, I was a gay ref.
Right. Right.
And yeah. Anyway, so the vision of how you think you're going to be and what you're going to be and what life's going to be. Of course, you have to put yourself in that situation. Go like, there was a lot of people wrestling.
Right.
I was bitter at the time. And that literally did set me to where I was like, I'm just going to be a musician. Screw this shit.
Right.
And which should have been good because, I'm going to focus on that. But, one thing I didn't do was the due diligence in life that you have to do, which I had an instrument. I didn't pick it up. You got to pick up that instrument. Right. I don't care if you're a vocalist of a band. Pick up an instrument, bro. Like, that's your main thing, is learning more about the music that you're singing over. Do it, man. It's fun. Right. It'll also give you peace, I broke my finger, which we can talk about some other time. around that time.
We're not going to talk about what happened after that happened. Inside joke for us.
Just don't bore me.
Oh my
bore me.
God.
Sorry. Bore me. Anyway, that's nowhere, I hope. I don't know, unless
Nope,
it's in
not. I pray
somebody's
hope
safe.
wherever that
It's in
was,
somebody's safe
wherever
somewhere.
that disappeared, it got smashed. I hope.
Right. Somebody got smashed that night. Anyway, so back to what we were saying, which was that we obviously, that another inside joke. Nobody knows.
Nope.
Like,
I love the fact that we're gonna laugh about it, and people are gonna watch and be like, I don't know. Except our friends, we're gonna watch and laugh about it, and I'm like, that's all that matters in a way.
But also just pick up on, if you don't know us, we like to have a good time.
Oh yeah, of course.
And we have had a good time in our life. We're going to continue to have plenty.
Time.
I think this, obviously, like you said earlier, like maybe we could have Lindy. Yeah, we could have people. Like,
Dude, I hope.
I can also do, you can also do your own thing.
Right.
You are, and I don't know if you know this, but you are a brand.
Yeah, I am.
You're literally Shane Hollister, which was really cool to hear Shug, like in the beginning there.
Right.
From that certain camera view from last night, because it was like,
that was just a fan view, right?
Sweet. Like, people know who the hell this guy is, and like, of course, because you've been wrestling for a long time and you're not shit.
Right.
I would say though, obviously get on steroids, but brother, natural, all natural.
Guy named Jim. Just gotta get back in there is the thing.
Well, and there's plenty of ladies in there that, they can't wait for you to be there and they can't wait to stare at you. And they're extremely attractive. And they're like, where's the Shug at? I can't even do this. I can't even do this squat without the Shug hair.
Here we go.
Anyway, so, yeah. I think what we were getting at is, we bonded on the same stuff, which was music and wrestling. Obviously, at the time, I'm still doing different bands. If Derek was here, he'd remember the dates because I don't.
Yeah, dude.
Derek's got like freaking perfect memory somehow.
He wasn't actually getting hit in the head like everybody else was.
He's gotten hit in the head before,
but not as much as everyone else.
Well, yeah, and now that he's doing jujitsu, maybe somebody will accidentally clobber him. But
maybe
I don't know. But yeah, he had that. Vision of doing something different. So you were just talking about channel brutality. Never Was a Day.
Right.
Never Was a Day was probably one of the first original songs. And I don't want to discount Cynical. I'm just saying that those songs were so similar to what we were covering that I can't consider it, original. But Derek broke out and said, hey, I'm going to do this, and this is going to be how it is. And he came up with the original riffs. Like I said, Mike Greer was in that band at the time.
Right.
And we were kind of doing things similarly to Cynical in that we were writing things that we loved, and we were like, oh, this is going to be different. But like years later, removing myself from the equation and looking back, I'm like, those riffs were pretty original. Like, they're different. Like,
for real.
We changed them. Like because we were just trying to progress, I guess is the word, to like the different. It's just like pro wrestling.
Right.
It progresses. There's literally going to be a dude who just does a backflip and then like for no reason and then does a drop kick. And you're like, why did you do a backflip to do the drop kick?
Yes, dude. To this day, I still see it all the time. Just
right.
movement to do movement to get to something you could have done.
Well, it's because it looks cool. Ago. I mean, that's where I can take myself out and be like, well, it looks cool.
Sometimes like I'm watching and I'm like, dude, that in your head, you probably thought that looked cool, but I'm watching it and trying to watch it as a fan. And I'm just like, why did you do all of that?
Right.
To get to that? Like, it's just, it's counterproductive. It's, wasted movement, which is like something that you learn early on in pro wrestling is like no wasted steps. Like you're doing all this for a reason, and if you're doing this, doing that, doing this, that, and you take almost 12 steps back to do something that you could have done 12 steps ago, it's like, why? And then there are times that it is innovative where you do something and it makes sense. Yeah, that's where my brain works. I'm like, okay, it wasn't just movement, body to get to something that you could have already done.
Right.
If you're doing cool stuff and then it gets to the point, then it means something.
Right. So that was the same with music as well.
Yes.
Because at the time, we were writing like each song was at least 8 minutes long.
Yeah.
And I'm like, holy shit. And like later, what is it? What's the big thing? And I don't even remember where I took this from. You might have said this, but a documentary said something. Don't bore us. Get to the chorus.
Yeah, I don't know what that was from.
And I don't remember it's from.
Sense.
But I remember being like, oh shit, that's right.
So,
and of course, like, you know, me being a young guy, I'm like, oh, I can sing more better than most. When in actuality, like, I was probably dog shit, like I still am. I'm not, you know, like as far as like singer, you know, I just do stuff and with my vocal cords. Am I like a professional? No.
Right.
So like when people like, especially the new stuff I've done, I'm pretty proud of because I finally, after how many years, said, oh, I'm just going to do a solo project where I don't have anybody in the band. And now I'm already, you know, probably 7 songs written, 2 songs in, which for me, I'm doing the mixing and the mastering. So that means, and you know,
so much
2
work.
songs in.
Yeah.
And I'll show you later. But like, and I've shown you the one, but now it's to a mastering stage where you can actually hear my vision. And finally, I've gotten to the point where I'm like, oh, this is my vision. It's still not like perfect because I'm a perfectionist, but telling a story with music is the same as pro wrestling.
Yes.
You have to do an up and down, but you also have to have like an end, you know, and so you have to go home, as they say.
That punctuation, that period.
Do you still say go home?
Yeah, all the time.
Okay. I was just making.
I said it. I think I said it last night.
Kayfabe is broken.
No,
kayfabe is broken.
Too many smart marks. And then there's a movie, the show called Heels. Like,
oh yeah, I haven't seen that yet.
I love
dude
it.
From
Green Arrow, Stephen Amell.
No, dude from
Green Arrow.
No, well,
yeah, and Ninja Turtles.
No,
he played Casey Jones.
Dude from Vikings.
What dude? Oh yeah, the brother.
Yeah,
the brother.
Yeah.
I'm like, who are you? Where are you going?
Dude from Vikings.
Yes. Okay.
Way better actor than whoever you're talking about. Have you ever watched Vikings?
But he's also in Race to Witch Mountain as an alien with a rock.
He's also in another movie about. Oh man, it was a good one. It was on Netflix about vampires, and he's just a random, weird vampire dude. He's fucking funny in that movie. Like where I'm just like, what? That guy's in it, and he's just jacked, and he's just weird, and he's like, you know, just this weird. Where he's like, ugh.
I don't know if maybe that is the same guy. I've never seen that one.
Yeah, you should definitely watch that one. I'll figure out what it is and I'll text it.
Right, but yes, there is that dude in it. They play brothers, and they're taking over. Well, the older brother's taking over the booking of the company that his dad built.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of cool stuff in it. Apparently, Arn Anderson walked up to Stephen Amell and goes, "I don't know how you know all the stuff you know, but I do like it." And I'm like, whoa, bro.
Well, that's a compliment.
Yeah, seriously. And then Stephen Amell is a huge wrestler.
Double A.
Stephen Amell is huge wrestling mark. And that's why he worked with WWE.
Oh,
back in the day. With Cody Rhodes, they did.
Did you just hear about that news?
Oh, yeah, I did. Oh, yeah.
I hope that's good news, right?
Well,
you know, like he just left.
He left, yeah.
Something he created, you know?
Yeah, he helped create. Which is like, man, what the hell? But
so I did. Now, again, this is like being a weird, you know, again, this is all just comes in my feed with, like, I have a million things for Google or whatever, or Brave.
Right.
Like, I have different browsers that just show me news. And it said, like, something about Shane McMahon got fired or something like that.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
Okay, what happened?
So there's the backstage rumors where he was blatantly, this is quote unquote, you know, backstage rumors, blatantly shitting all over the other agents in the back, like in front of them, in front of the other wrestlers and stuff, and then wanted to go out and like do all this crazy shit with Matt Riddle, who Matt Riddle could have just kicked his ass at any point because he was
like a legit.
legit.
Well,
MMA
Shane
wrestler.
McMahon does like actually like kickboxing stuff though, right?
I think so.
And he's
but, like,
jacked, dude.
Yeah, he's in great shape.
And he's got McMahon like rage.
Yeah, but like apparently the story was that
He would get his ass kicked.
Yes.
I'm obviously picking him up because if he
Right.
wants to give me a call, I'll do the music for whatever you start. Hopefully WCW.
Hopefully.
Like this is the article I read. You're starting WCW. I'll do the music, man.
That was the
You can pay me
clickbait.
at least $500,000 a year.
That was the
I'm going to
clickbait.
do it from this studio in the basement of the middle of nowhere.
Right.
So, you're just gonna have to do that.
But yeah, that's the rumor. He got let go. And then like, oh man, I don't know. Like there was just all these backstage rumor shit. And then like with Cody, there's all the backstage rumors too where he was a big part of making AEW what it is.
Yeah.
And then like all the big money, this is the rumor.
Yeah.
The big money is going to CM Punk and Bryan Danielson.
Oh, okay.
And he's like, well, hey, man, like, I rejected WWE to help make this happen. Supposedly, that's the story as well.
Yeah.
Is he rejected WWE to help make AEW happen?
Yeah.
And he's not, well, from what I'm being told, again, is he's not being paid the way he should have for somebody who helped make AEW what it is.
Oh, okay.
So that's the rumor.
Well, I guess the gimmick would be Cody 2022, and you're Cody 2020, and Cody 22. That Cody 22,
Yeah.
and you are a virus that infects, and you and you obviously get cured quite easy by treatments that were there before. Anyway,
Right.
we're not going to go into that.
So, anyways,
That was a failed joke, but we're going to have many of them, and I did the first, which is not
Roll
surprising.
back to Cody
Yeah.
and Stephen Amell actually being buddies. Cody, after Stephen Amell did the stuff with WWE,
Yeah.
Stephen Amell had him come on to the show Arrow that was on CW. So
Right.
Cody actually was acting and was in the show.
Right.
So Stephen Amell, huge wrestling fan, comes across a show that's being pitched, and I don't know if he's a part of the pitch or whatever.
Right.
Is a part of it, and he's like I said, he's the big brother running the show. The guy you're talking about is the younger brother. I'm assuming that's who you're talking about. Blonde hair, taller dude, lean.
Yeah.
Okay. I've never watched Vikings, so I'm only assuming.
You fucked up, dude.
Right.
You are literally.
I know. I've heard.
Hold on. I got to get the camera on me because I'm controlling this, by the way, people. So I'm sucking at this, and I'm not even that drunk yet. So we might pause because I know I gotta go.
I'm ready to go.
All right, you got to go to the bathroom. All right,
Yep.
let's pause. Remember that note. What were we on? We're talking about
Vikings.
Vikings.
And me not watching it.
All right,
And then the main dude from Vikings actually is in Raised by Wolves.
right.
Right?
So we cut because we had to take a pause for the cause, and I think first and foremost because literally haven't seen him for a while anyway because we have busy life.
Right.
I didn't get to say click it or tick it.
Oh, brother.
So we're clicking it
Bang.
right now, having a
Cheers.
drink. But I was about to cut a promo. All right,
Here it comes.
listen up, you beautiful asshole.
Best way. All right, here we go.
Ragnar Rothburn
Okay.
is this is a literal historical character,
Okay.
a Viking, who is the baddest of bad, right? The guy who plays him has been in a lot of stuff after this. And I forget his name, but whatever, doesn't matter. The character Ragnar Rathburn not only looks like the Shug. Oh my God. Shaved head with tattoo on the head. Same beard color. You're a little darker.
I was going to say, isn't he blonde? Though?
But he literally exemplifies what the Shug is. He's a bad motherfucker. And he's everything the Shug is as a
Right,
character.
right.
So I think you
Oh,
have
God.
to, you have to Like this is you're telling me what I have to watch?
Right.
You have to watch Vikings. Okay. It's all on Netflix now, I think, or Hulu.
Okay,
which
I can get my hands on either one. So
Hulu has all the funny shit, by the way.
Yeah.
Hulu has Workaholics. It has
dude.
It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Hulu has everything. So I have Hulu just for my comedy, really.
Right.
And they did that. It's like, hey, nobody's paying for cable. How do we get everybody to pay more than cable?
Yes, dude, that's a trick. Like,
exactly.
Because realistically, you still have to pay for the internet to watch it. So, are you really saving money?
Well, and again,
but you can pick and choose when you watch it. Though.
Right. To finish the promo, basically the storyline is better than pro wrestling. Badoosh. In general, there is so many twists and turns, but they're subtle. It's not like M. Night Shyamalan.
Right.
It's like a good twist where you're like, okay, gotta watch the next one. They do that well.
They find you,
and they get because it's a History Channel show, so History Channel produced it.
Right.
They get a lot of it right. A lot of it's, who knows? We didn't live. We didn't. Well, we didn't live during that time, so it's like it's anybody's guess, I guess. But they had so many different things in there. Where I'm like, okay, well, and it was like a visual effect thing, right. So same as pro wrestling,
right.
So
it goes full circle.
Exactly.
So the show Heels, which like I said, I just Arn Anderson walked up to Stephen Amell, and Stephen Amell put up a video instantly on Facebook. Was like, Arn Anderson just walked up to me and said, "I don't know how you guys know what you know,
right?
But I like it."
Exactly.
Something along those lines, and I'm like, "Whoa, dude."
So I mean, again, every pro wrestler I've ever loved, if they didn't like, and I don't want to say pop culture because pop culture means something different now.
Right.
But during, the 80s, 90s, pop culture was pretty badass. You had actual bands. Now, there was also an underground, right? But if they didn't like pop culture, they didn't pay attention to it, they probably fizzled. Because they have to be more entertaining than the entertainers. One of the coolest things.
Pulse of what's the saying? Pulse of the
time?
No, like
Dragon?
Of the people, like
pulse of the people,
like pulse of the culture. Like I can't remember the saying, but obviously, like there is you have to have your finger on the pulse.
Cult of personality.
Exactly. I mean, yes, that's what we need to be.
No, so they had that, those people that obviously rose above and became what you now know as legends. But like, why were they legends? Is because they were like, well, dude, people don't know Hulk Hogan is a legitimate musician. Like, he's not a little bitch. He can play bass like a motherfucker. He's really good.
And not only that, a lot of people forget that Hulk was a legit wrestler. Like, he could go when he wanted to. Hulk could go.
So not in the beginning, right?
No,
because he got his leg broke on purpose. I know his old story,
right? Because
I jerked off about it.
Well, of course.
Go ahead. We're going downhill from here.
Oh, that's all right. There it is. So cut that. No, Hulk was a legit great fucking worker back in the day. Like if you get sent to Japan and you can't make it because they'll beat the shit out of you,
right? If
you can't. Hulk was a bad motherfucker, and like
who? Oh, like, okay, you can answer this because I literally had this. It was yesterday. No, it was 2 weeks ago. I was thinking about who was the Hulk Hogan of Japan in pro wrestling. What was his name? Big old dome.
Hulk Hogan.
Japanese guy. He was like a rock star, and he also put on Pride championships, which was the first MMA in Japan as far as like a large scale. It wasn't the first, but anyway, I forget his name, and somebody's
a bald Japanese.
No.
I thought you said a bald Japanese.
No, he was like basically Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan looked up to him. But anyway, so there were things going on in the world that were very Hulk Hogan-esque. Obviously, the easiest one, even before Hulk Hogan would be Superstar.
Yeah. Oh, see, I
Because
was getting ready to say
Superstar,
that, bro.
Superstar Billy
That
Graham.
was my dad's favorite pro wrestler.
Oh,
of
really?
all time. That was it. And like,
Got to click it to that.
my dad actually told me when I was young.
Yeah.
Everything Hulk Hogan's doing, he stole from my favorite pro wrestler, and I was like,
What's really cool is I think he's still alive, and
Superstar Billy Graham's still alive.
and Hulk Hogan still gives him all the respect in the
He does.
world because
He really does, though.
you know, and again, this comes back to the theme is music to pro wrestling. I'm gonna keep bouncing back to music.
Right.
Music is the same. We borrow from who we love.
Right.
Maybe we borrow in, and this might get a little technical, but tone. So tone on guitar, bass,
Right.
also on drums. There's tone, and tonally, you might listen to dissonant music, and if you're not versed, like you haven't listened to it a lot, you would go, "Oh, it all sounds the same," because it's dissonant. Dissonance and consonance. Consonance is what you listen to when you listen to pop music. I'm not saying they don't use dissonant chords. They do. I'm not getting that in depth. I'm just saying if you can blanket statement something, you can say there's dissonance and there's consonance. And a lot of people right now, especially like, in the world, have always actually got drawn to consonant music, which is your pop music, right?
Right.
But again, that's where you draw a parallel to maybe like a good example would be like Purple Rain, right?
Yeah. Okay.
And you love Purple Rain.
I love Prince.
Prince had a guitar solo.
Dude.
That's dissonant, though, in a sense.
Right.
Now, it might not be with the chords he's using, or maybe his solo might not be that dissonant, but it is because it's distortion.
Right.
Now, again, you can argue what I'm saying. I'm just saying in a nutshell.
Yeah.
The pop pulse, or the pop pulse that like Hulk Hogan knew. He also, and a lot of people don't know this, he tried out for Metallica, bro, as a bass player.
Who did?
Hulk Hogan.
No way, bro. For real? Yeah, you're making that shit up now.
Look it up. I swear to God.
You're right.
Now, again,
but the fact
Hulk
that
Hogan tried out for Metallica when they didn't have a bass player, because they didn't have a bass player after Jason Newsted. Now, again, did he have an actual tryout? That's weird. But he did say, I will play Metallica because I really like Metallica. So that means that as a musician, he liked things a lot of people don't like.
Exactly.
So I guess that's what I'm saying. Okay. I'm saying that music and pro wrestling, the parallel is who is the best usually has an outside view or 360, 360 view of life. And then you can kind of tell by the music they listen to.
Right.
Now, I don't know what Colbster's into anymore. I've heard boy, girl. And when I say this, it's no disrespect to me. Right. Boy, girl just means that they say boy or girl in that song.
Oh, yeah. No. Okay. Gotcha.
Like,
all right.
I don't know if he listens to that. I know he listens to a lot of really cool shit when I was hanging out with him. But, that meant that he was on the finger of the pulse of something that's not pop, which this is the exact opposite. This is what we became best buds over, which is called the underground.
Yeah. And
there's still the underground.
Oh, it's still there, for sure.
Dark Rift is underground, is it not?
Yes, totally.
If, honestly, because again, like, that's me explaining what we do as far as like what I do. I mean, death metal in general is definitely still underground. There's no, a lot of people would say like, well, if death metal was underground, why would it be in a movie? I agree. That was insane that how cool Jim Carrey was, that he took Cannibal Corpse. And obviously, there's a deleted scene that's a lot longer.
Yeah, where he gets on the stage and grabs the mic.
Yeah.
He does it himself.
I'll be busy fucking your mothers. Literally.
Yeah, he did say that, yeah.
And again, like he had what I was just describing. Right. He had his finger on a different underground.
Dude, hang on. Sidebar.
Yeah.
He went on Arsenio Hall before... I'm positive it was almost or right around the same time Ace Ventura was coming out.
Okay.
And they were like, he brought it up. Arsenio Hall was like, I heard you're into like some different kind of music. He's like, you've never heard of death metal?
Yeah,
Dude,
no, I've seen
yeah,
it.
and he's like, these
Oh
bands,
man,
like A Palm of Death, and he's like,
yeah.
like,
I get into it.
he's like,
I just get into it, man. I love it. I love it.
I just love it.
And it's so true though, because like when we met, we're talking about metal.
Yes.
And okay, this is where we need Lyndon on. There's so many subgenres of the music that we love.
Oh my god.
One of the genres would be like, okay, this could be a podcast in itself, but like think
Right,
about
for
like
real.
people trying to define Metallica. They would say thrash metal, would
But
they
that
not?
was
But then
a
you're like,
made-up
well,
thing.
no, because it's metal.
Yeah.
They were still metal. And then you go like, well, Pantera, that's thrash metal. They were power metal before. And you're like, what the? It's metal.
And then because of Pantera, they
Yeah.
almost created a subgenre of groove metal, also kind of.
Groove metal.
Yes.
And again, like, what does that even mean? Well, they also said our band grooves, and they
Yeah.
kept saying it over and over. It's a different groove. This is a different groove,
Exactly.
which all musicians have said. I think it's kind of an easy way to say, like, hey, I think we're doing something different. It's a different groove.
Right.
But really, when it comes down to, do you, as a pro wrestler, think there are people that are still on the pulse of what's the underground in music?
I totally do. I
Yeah.
think that
I know you do, but
I do, but there are people who I think in the wrestling business right now, so many people are afraid of being themselves.
yeah,
And I think you being yourself,
authenticity,
just be yourself and who you are and what you're into,
right?
and just pull it forward, man. Just pull it all out. Like, because like
Right.
there are people that have found themselves years later, like rolling back to music even. That guy, I can't even pronounce his name. I think it's that Jared Dean
Dean,
from
okay.
Seon or so.
Oh, Jared Dines.
That's it, Jared Dines.
Yeah.
Like, had been doing music for, 15 years before anybody gave a...
He's a YouTube guy.
Yeah. 15 years before anybody gave him a fuck. Like, nobody
Right.
gave a fuck. Releases that Scion album,
Right.
#1 album, fucking metal.
Is it?
And it was
I didn't know that.
Dude, I think it was in the top 10 of all fucking music when it was released, dude.
Wow.
Like, huge. That was fucking huge.
Nothing was going on that day. Anyway,
Yeah, but like it was huge. Like
I have to be the counter to this because I love Killswitch so much.
I know.
And I love Killswitch with Howard.
But
And
I think
Howard and Jesse could just do, like, they do an A and a B side. And
on tour together
don't
right now.
put Howard on the B side, because that would, people would be like, what? This day and age,
Oh,
he
God, I got you.
I'm just
Picking
kidding.
up what you're putting.
I'm
down.
just kidding. But definitely have him again, because he obviously has he has what I like to call the feel of a vocal.
Oh my God, yeah.
So there, a lot of the correlations I draw from now are probably actual instruments. So I say, like, there's feel, there's technicality,
Yes.
which is probably this probably directly correlates with pro wrestling, which I
does.
wanted to talk
It
about
does.
this really,
It does.
really
It
bad,
does. Totally.
because there's feel. Let me think of
You go into a match with
Yeah.
a plan. All right.
Yeah.
So hey, perfect story. This is one of my favorite stories ever. We were on a show with Jake Roberts and Diamond Dallas Page.
Oh, nice.
So we're putting
How much yoga did you do?
none at all. But I should, because you've seen those results, right?
Well, I mean, yeah.
those
no,
results are insane.
that is a very inspiring thing. If anybody, and again, I forget that a lot of people that we don't know are gonna watch this, dude. DDP yoga, man. I was there in the, oh man, I don't remember which WrestleMania this was, but I was in the lobby and I seen DDP yoga on Diamond Ellis Page's PT Cruiser.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit. Oh, DDP's here. That's weird. Well, I didn't know that like he was there because like he was starting to get more into the business again, and
Right.
whatever. He has his own. He's like super successful. He was successful before,
Right.
but a lot of people don't know that. But so yeah, so that whole system is amazing. It's hard though,
No, it's not. It's
and
not just stretching. Like it pushes you
but
to a point
but
where.
no, yoga's hard,
No, it
right?
is. Yeah, yoga is hard
But
as fuck.
he made it easier because he made like his own. It's called like you get a
Builds
chair, and you hold yourself up, and you're basically just doing like a basic stretch. But you have somebody who's super like commanding, like DDP is. He's got that super low voice, brother.
Not only that, inspirational. Like
Inspirational.
saying stuff. Like it's just like fuck, dude. Like oh man, I can feel that. I can feel it. Which is something
Yeah.
that happens with music as well.
So let me just okay.
Yeah.
This is what I'll do. All right. So I'll say the sayings within music, right? Kayfabe is a saying within pro wrestling. So an inner, it's not even really inner, but feel on guitar means improv.
Yeah. Which, by the way, Prince don't roll back.
Technicality on guitar means that's where I need
show off.
No, for pro wrestling.
Oh yeah.
So I'm going feel is improv.
Yep.
So go ahead on that.
No, you're perfect.
What's the feel of pro wrestling?
Improv. All right. So back to my story. Was Jake kind of just walked up and was listening to this to put our I think it was like a 6-man tag or a multi-man like scramble, and as a joke, I think Matt Cage was like, "Hey, we got a DDT in the match. Is that okay, Jake?" And he was like, "It'll never get over." And I laughed so hard. I thought it was hilarious. So during the match, or as we're calling it, and he's just standing there listening.
What year is this?
Oh God, dude, I don't know.
Just guess.
Before Axel was born, so I don't know. It was 7 years ago.
Before Axel born
8 years.
is BAB. Before Axel born. 8 years ago. Yeah.
But anyways, something like that. So we're putting the match together, and Jake's standing there, like I said.
Yeah.
And he goes, this all sounds great. It sounds great. Like,
yeah.
You go to a restaurant, you sit down, and you're trying to feed them a steak dinner. What if they want fish? Clicked in my head. I was like, we can go out there and do all this dumb shit.
Yeah.
And if we're not listening to them, we're not doing what they want.
So that'd be feel.
It's feel.
Feel of
pro wrestling is
well, okay, so what is a little bit different, I guess, is that feel within guitar is feel within you.
Yes.
So you have to correlate with that with wrestling. So what you're saying is the intangible, which is there are people there, and that's what you're there for, is that people. Within music, there's nobody there, and you're playing, and you're getting feel, which means your improv. And that's not even a good way to say it. It's really hard, but your improv is really good with your feel because you're on the groove and you're just like it's like Dimebag Darrell has a lot of feel. Like I could just come up with like a million guitar players have a lot of feel, and their feel just is so them. And what is the signature that makes a pro wrestler have feel by himself? Nobody else.
By himself, you have
him or her. Sorry.
Where you know your crowd, where you are, him or her.
So what you're saying is feel is dependent upon the crowd.
Yes, but also if you go out there and you go on the fly, like we know the end. That's it. We're working towards the finish.
Right.
It's all feel at that point.
Right.
Everything touch and go. Like we know where we're going towards the end. It's touch and go.
Right.
And that is almost a completely lost art. Like like legit, like it really is. I got a chance to do that with, which is funny to say, is my pro wrestling grandfather, Al Snow.
Oh my God, give me head.
So Al, I walked up to Al and I had heard that he didn't really like to work with a lot of people. So I walked up and was like, Al, what kind of story do you want to tell tonight? Because a lot of guys are like, just walk up and like, "Oh, what do you want to do?" And I'm like, dude, you're already rubbing somebody the wrong way right away. Because
Yeah.
they're like, and sometimes the guys will show up like, I don't want to do shit, bro. Nothing. So like I walked up and was like, Al, what kind of story do you want to tell?
Yeah.
And like right there, he was like, what do you do? I do this, this, and this, and sometimes this. And we're talking, and he's like, all you have to do is we might do this, we might do that. This is the finish. All you got to do is listen, kid.
Right. Nice.
And dude, honestly, like Al had worked with the dude the night before,
Yeah.
and apparently had beat him up. I
Oh.
beat him up. So I come through the locker room, and Al had already apparently worked the boys to the point where everyone thinks that every time Al hits someone, he's beating them up. So I come through the locker room, and Cole Cabana is one of the first guys I see. He goes, "Why'd you let him beat you up like that?" And I
Yeah.
said, "He never hit me unsafe and hard once."
I would have said it was a blizzard and the motherfucker knew how to snowplow.
I kicked out, bro. I kicked out a snowplow.
Oh my God. Shug just gained. You have to understand. I was a huge Al Snow
Dude,
mark,
he was fucking
bro.
awesome.
He literally had head on his head.
Tattooed backwards. Like if you looked in a mirror, you could see it.
That's the coolest thing in the world.
Right?
That guy had the intangible. Anyway, so you obviously exalted. You know, you just wrestled Al Snow. Go back. They asked a little shit.
So again, it's like one of those things where if dudes go out there and you know just the ending, you know, then it's all feel. It's all touch and go, man. Like you got
Right.
you got your few things that you talk to each other that you might do. Like, or if it's there, we'll do it. And again, that's only listening. So
Right.
that was completely different from things that I was used to. So just
Right.
listen to a guy who's like, all right, so this is gonna work right here. So we're gonna go to that one.
Right.
And like just one little thing of like, all right, so we'll do that one, that spot. And
Okay.
I'm like, oh shit, okay. And just listening. Because like,
Yeah.
a lot of guys are, all right, I'll say it now. I don't give a shit anymore. Guys call their entire match
Yeah.
in the back.
Right.
And like sometimes it's almost important to do with multi-men because there's too much going on.
Right.
But if it's a one-on-one, dude, come on. Everything
Right.
that you're gonna do,
Right.
you're gonna walk through step by step.
Yeah.
Nothing at that point. It's just technical. There's no feel.
Okay, so now you're getting. All right, so now we're getting into the disagreement and the agreement.
Right.
Okay, so my agreement is, I think technicality is that.
It can be, yeah.
Now, again, I'm not a pro wrestler, so let me just preface that again. I think, and then correct me if I'm wrong, when I talk about feel with an instrument, correlating with pro wrestling, I talk about the inner self because it's just you by yourself. So, yeah, it takes two to tango. You can't have a pro wrestling match by yourself unless you're Shawn Michaels and you have a
Ric
broom,
Flair.
right? Exactly. So my thing is what would that correlate to? And in my opinion, if I can say this, and maybe this will enlighten a little bit what I meant about feel,
Right.
is like someone like the Intangibles, like The Rock or Stone Cold.
Right.
What made them have feel that separated them from the boys? So in ring is what we're on the same page with.
Right,
Because
right.
I'm not talking about promos.
No,
That's
no,
a
no.
completely. We can talk about that too, because that's still similar.
Yes.
Like
very-
there's feel and
very.
there's technicality and there's
Well,
oh my God, there's so many things with music.
hang on.
So
If-
go ahead.
If Colby told you
Yeah.
during promo day with Dusty Rhodes.
Yeah. Right.
Promo is pro wrestling.
Mm.
Pro wrestling is the promo. And that ain't even a lie, bro. Because
Well,
you could almost have that up and down motion with back and forth promo, dude. Like the story's told and nobody's even touched each other.
okay. And I agree with you. And it's literally still on the same subject of
Yes.
feel, because feel, okay, so the best feel moments you can think of, and this is so simple,
Right.
but it is literally them. So feel is authenticity, right? So that's the authentic person. Feel would be Stone Cold flicking Vince McMahon off before he stuns him, right? That's feel.
Yeah.
That was improv.
It's pulled in. Yeah.
The Rock's eyebrow before he does the people's elbow.
Right.
That's feel.
Yep.
And again, I could be wrong.
No, you're right. Because
I'm just correlating it from a different source. So what I'm saying is what this is in music. It's like a bend on a guitar, and then somebody just made that up. But people go, "Oh my God, that's different. That's Dimebag Darrell, whatever it is,
right.
whoever it is, Prince. Oh man, Prince had this. Whatever, it doesn't matter who it is, but that is feel. It was made up. It was there. It was them. It's individual feel.
I agree, but okay. So you're right. So there are parts.
What's the individual feel?
Individual feel is where you find yourself in what works to pull a crowd in without. I don't know what I guess it's an intangible. Like there's a thing that I do.
Yeah.
That has always been a big part of like first off, you've probably seen a million times because we'll roll back to me getting pissed off all the time because my face was this big. So I got to the point where was able to control my eyebrows and look mad when I'm not mad. So this.
Right. Which is my stinker, Shug.
So now that my son can
he's my little stinker.
Hilarious. So like,
yeah, he's a little stinker
I
too.
Literally come up like as we call it start firing back or whatever. A facial expression and body movement is feel, and then you do build to that, like just coming up off the mat and like just showing like your body and the way you move, and then your facial expression, like this. Like last night during that match, live commentary put over like, "Oh, he's pissed off. Now he's pissed off," and they put that over because like I was like progressively getting more angry as it was going on, and like stuff like that, like the eyebrow, the fingers, that is feel, and like again in a match, it is feel because out there with him, I was like, all right, so now we're gonna start going home, and going home was like not just like, oh, I'm gonna pin you. Go homes nowadays are progressively longer than just I'm gonna hit you with this, because going out there and doing the touch and feel, as I'm saying, is like calling on the fly, knowing the ending, and that's it. That is kind of went out the window because I think too many people are afraid of being boring. So, like, but also you don't have to be boring if you have your select things that you guys know each other do. You do not necessarily have to be boring at all.
I always thought, okay, maybe I'm giving away what I'd probably say off camera for sure.
Right.
I'm like 100% that you're in the direction of feel, but I'm still like, I don't know, man, because as a musician, that's your flair. And there's no pun intended, but there is, because Ric Flair had a lot of flair.
Tons.
Right? Which is still feel.
Yeah.
Like, so what I'm talking
that's
about.
That's why Flair was a touch and go guy. He was calling fly. So like even in Brett's DVD, Brett was like, well, I wasn't so used to a lot of like call it in the ring. Even then, even Brett was like,
Bret Hart?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
So like that part where Flair uh pushed him forward, and like during the match, like Brett dislocated his finger because he hit the turnbuckle wrong,
Right.
and then in front of which would be Mr. Perfect, he tried to straighten it out, and it zooms in on like Perfect's face. And he's like, oh, he couldn't even hide that. He was like, oh shit, that's my friend. Like,
Right.
just dislocate his finger and put it back in place. Like, and again, Brett was like on the fly. Again,
Right.
that whole style of storytelling and being on the fly, on the feel for the crowd. So on the feel for the
Right.
crowd, that is somewhat lost, but apparently I used to, when I was younger, be very naive. I would crap on guys like John Cena, who Colby
Yeah.
would later tell me, he's like, no, bro, he's so good. He's so good. He can feel it. He knows when it's time to turn it on.
I was in the same boat as what Colbster's saying, because I always felt that like this guy. No, it's not his look. It's like there's a different thing,
Right.
and again, what was his feel though that was different? So I still think that you're not connecting to what I'm trying to put out with feel.
Right.
I think what you're saying is completely right. What you're
We're talking
saying
about feel for the crowd.
but I think
instead of feeling
well,
of
no.
yourself.
First and foremost, we're literally doing like different thing where like I'm trying to be like, hey, what do you think this is with that? It's apples and oranges, but like we can kind of try to bridge it with, maybe we mash it with a Jack LaLaney juicer. Anyway, so what I'm thinking is we have this idea of feel within a musician, and we think about like John Cena. We say, what was John Cena's feel? It was him rapping,
Right.
because that's literally in his real life. He was rapping,
Right.
right? So what I'm saying is, what is in your real life you're doing, like as a human, like for me, not talking crap. I'm just saying, Colbster cusses in real life,
All the time.
but here's the big thing: all of them people cuss,
Oh, dude.
because they're adults.
Oh, yeah.
So what was a feel during the era was that they're literal adults, and they cuss differently than everybody else. That's a feel. That's
Right.
a
But again, back to me.
all right.
Pulse on pop culture, which they were. They were a pulse on pop culture, and not only that, motherfuckers stole. They stole. Who was the pulse of the pop culture?
Huh.
Paul fucking Heyman. They stole all his shit and just cut out the fuck words. That's
Okay,
it.
so obviously ECW, which we'll probably do a whole episode
Dude.
on. I don't know. Hopefully we get somebody from ECW. I'll get them drunk.
Awesome.
Anyway, the point is, like, we look at ECW and we say that they were on the pulse of a lot of things. What was the feel of ECW? So I'm correlating metal, though, and
Which
also
they did, though.
being a musician, they were like
Big time.
ahead of everything.
Everything.
I mean, they literally had Pantera Walk
Yeah.
as an entrance, and they
Alice in
like
Chains made
even
the box.
ECW Extreme Championship Wrestling. Dun dun dun
So
dun.
cool, dude.
How
so
the
cool.
fuck? Like, most people at that time, and again, like, not in popularity. Like,
Right.
people are like, oh, ECW is huge. WWE is not even that huge, dude.
No.
Even in the hugest of huge, it's not that huge compared to, like, the mainstream thing that, like, the news at the time was bigger than anyway. But like, you think about, and again, let's get back to the technicalities of music and know that they're similar.
Oh, so similar.
There is a correlation to especially ECW, but especially with WWE, especially with music that drives wrestling to be different. Now I feel when I watch wrestling, and this is I'm gonna shit talk no matter what because I'm authentic, but there's like where is like the weird? But I hear like obviously with Colbster, who is what we've been talking about. He is one of us, right? I think about like, okay, I'll listen to his music and I go, yeah, there's dissonance there, and people like it. So where's the other thing that's dissonant? Well, in my opinion, what was always dissonant and different about the WWE or pro wrestling in general was always the dark character.
Yep.
So The Undertaker, of course.
Which was, dude, the longest running WWE character of all fucking time.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Why wouldn't he be?
Like,
not really.
But no,
there's so many injuries that could have took him out forever, and pro wrestling is insane. So I say, why wouldn't he be? It's a testament to how badass that person is as an individual to continue.
For real. And even rebranding himself as many times as he did, and then after rebranding, still coming full circle, still coming out to the same entrance. Like, dude, that is everlasting. That's forever, man. Like, and I'm going to expose something that Tommy Dreamer told me.
Uh-oh.
Here it comes. Come to find out, this happens in especially a big company. So you come in with an idea, be careful. So there was a tag team called the Undertakers, and they used to put people in body bags.
Oh, shit. Okay.
They didn't give them a job. Their idea was stolen and given to one man.
Okay.
That was told to me by Tommy Dreamer. And I was like,
well, I don't know if we can put that up. Yes, we will. Sorry, Tommy Dreamer. I don't know you.
I don't care.
Either way, the point is
when Tommy said that in locker rooms, I wasn't the only person he was talking to when he said it.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to work with Tommy, by the way, which was cool and not cool because we were wrestling in the rain.
Oh, shit.
Pro wrestling ring is very slippery when it's raining.
Right.
So it was cool to be like, holy
But
crap.
hold on, was it Purple Rain?
Nope.
Oh, shit, okay.
I wish. Only.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, I come to find out, like, that's not the only story. I knew a guy named Eric Priest who used to call himself the Gold Standard, went to do a WB tryout.
Yeah.
Who became the Gold Standard? Shelton Benjamin. After Eric Priest's tryout. So, you come in with original idea. They might not like you, but they like your idea.
Oh, yeah.
So they take it.
Yes. Yes.
So that's why it's scary. And you know what? It even happened with Colby. Colby's idea of jumping the two main guys during the main event with like nightsticks or something ended up happening with R-Truth and The Miz. And that was Colby's pitch for him to come in.
Oh, really?
It was blatantly stolen. And I don't care if I'm not supposed to say that. Well, it doesn't matter. At this point,
you say whatever.
We are realizing that if you have a creative idea and you pitch it to the wrong people, they might not like you, but they'll like your idea and give it to somebody else.
First and foremost, I think that's
for yourself.
That's pretty much with everything.
Yeah, it's scary, man.
Music. I just recorded Jake, one of my buddies, Jake the Mistake, good guy.
Yep.
I just recorded him the other day doing some cool shit. And nobody needs to know what we were working on because it's a work in progress, right? And like you said, it's an idea. And if I'd shown it to somebody else, guess what they would do?
They'll claim it as their own because they can.
Now, here's what's different about music, though. You better be badass, and you better be able to play that.
Right, true.
So that's kind of where there's still a parallel. Are you badass enough to steal somebody's gimmick and make it your own? Like,
Here's the thing.
you're saying the Undertaker stole something?
No.
Well, it wasn't.
WWE.
Yeah.
WWE,
Vince McMahon or
WWF,
whoever.
the creative,
Right.
stole that tag team's idea.
Right.
I'm sure. Undertaker,
Well,
Mark Calloway,
again,
Mark Calloway
we don't have a fact checker.
True.
So
sure,
I don't know. My thing also though is there's been dog shit gimmicks.
Oh yeah, all.
Like
I think when
a billion over, and you could literally correlate or you could parallel them to like everything because you can be like, oh, dude, like that gimmick's the same gimmick as that. So many gimmicks, right? But what makes it intangible is, and that's why I use music terms, feel.
And I think it's like you said, it's a person.
Right.
Because if it wasn't, I always forget the Undertaker's real name. But if it wasn't Undertaker, Mark.
Right.
If it wasn't Mark, I don't think that character would have lasted as long as it did. Because of him being him.
And I agree.
I think that's
Hold
intangible. That it was
1,
stolen.
2, ready, go, intangible.
It was the intangible that Mark or Undertaker, if it wouldn't have been him, it wouldn't have lasted. Like
100%.
The character was blatantly stolen from the stories I've heard.
Yeah.
Was blatantly stolen. As a tag team, they were called the Undertakers.
Oh.
So, and then it was given to just one guy. And then they gave him a mouthpiece, which was, Paul Bearer, Percy Pringle.
Percy.
So,
Right.
all right, so again, the intangible, you could have a story given to you or a character given to you, and it's not. Oh, I'm totally couldn't hear myself at all right now. Oh, okay, now I can.
Trying to get rid of that ring. There we go.
I don't know where that comes from. I think it's your heat kicking on.
Might be. It's all good. We're gonna hear noises and shit.
I don't give a shit. Anyways,
we just need a different microphone because this microphone is different than that.
Probably captures everything.
That's not as good.
No? Okay. But anyways, like I said, it doesn't matter what. Again, with pro wrestling, it's like taking a role in one movie. Okay, so you're an actor, but you're good at what you do in ring.
Right.
And you're handed one role. And you're supposed to be that role for the rest of your career.
Yeah.
How many people can do that without reinventing themselves? There are guys who can do it.
Right.
But the fact that you could be again, there's a Mount Rushmore, but it needs more heads for pro wrestling because there's those guys who've reinvented themselves and just kept going and made themselves different and made themselves so good and so good for the business too. Even stepping outside of the business and showing yourself that you are a badass fucking action star or the top paid actor in Hollywood right now, Dwayne Johnson.
Right.
Not a joke. That's real. That's not even a fucking joke. That's crazy. Think about that. And John Cena.
Right.
John Cena just killed with Peacemaker. Just got as soon as the finale smashed, it doubled the opening. And from that, boom, instantly renewed for season 2.
Right.
And again, it shows depth of pro wrestlers because we know that we can act and we can turn it on when it's time.
Right.
A lot of us can. If you find that inner depth of yourself or the character that you're playing.
Right.
So, with that, you just gotta find it, man. Ah, fuck. I'm
100% you got to find it.
going off tangent.
Well, I'm trying to figure out what the fuck that noise is because I am a musician and I get pissed off about that, but
So little
gonna
could be
figure it
cut.
out. It's
Could be
definitely
cut.
the microphone. It's a piece of shit and whatever. This microphone's super cheap you're using,
Oh,
and
this one.
the
Yep.
the one I'm using is not, but that's the one I usually record with, which is an SMB, which every podcaster records with. I got it way long before that because I know metal music and I am very, very into recording metal music. But I think what we were talking about,
Well, it's,
especially
yeah.
with the,
I found it.
yeah, go ahead, buddy.
With us drinking. Sorry, we're drinking. Coming back to me is
Don't be sorry.
with pro wrestling is you're handed a basically we're actors in a way, um, handed a role and
Yeah,
we're supposed to run with it for all of our lives, and then some of us can reinvent that character, and some of us can't.
right,
Um, like it's tough. Like man, that's super fucking tough. But like if you can find that way of reinventing yourself, which I I feel like it's so possible, especially with me, because like I need it so freaking bad, and I've pitched it and found out that I think that I have found it and it's gonna work, and my trainer is on board with it, so we'll see where it goes. But like I genuinely am excited about trying new things because
yeah,
just doing the same thing over and over, and like I'm not saying moves,
right,
but like not changing me in the ring, like not me, but the character of Shane Hollister in the ring does.
yeah,
If it doesn't change, it's just the same thing. It's like it's so boring, man. Like nobody's gonna care. So
right,
I was in an AEW for 5 years. Cool. I come back and I do all the stuff I've always done.
right,
So like there has to be a point where something happens and the character changes, and I'm
right.
on that road, and I mean I'm excited for it. I'm so excited because I think, man, I think that pro wrestling needs more of people on the dark side, and I'm there, man, bro. I'm on that side. We were talking about earlier, and that's the character I'm gonna end up running with.
Well, and again, there's always that, and we have that, and I say we, but musicians
Yo, you do.
have a dark side and a light side, and it's like when you're a musician that likes metal, you also like obviously like. For me, I've always liked extreme music, and I've leaned towards that, and I still do.
Right.
But like, I still listen to some light side stuff. Gunship, obviously, would be a prime example of something people wouldn't think I'd listen to. I've literally put it on for, people here, and they're going, "What? What?"
By the way, speaking of gunship, like recently I've come across a band, or not a band, but a show.
Yeah,
Somebody had put a compilation video of like a feud
yeah,
with gunship, and I was like, oh, dude, that was so cool because
that's pretty cool.
nobody's doing it, and like I think it's different. It's
Oh, a
not
feud between
like two dudes.
bands,
No,
or
two dudes in a wrestling feud, and they took gunship
yeah,
and match their feud. Do you know how you get the compilation video,
right,
right? Like so. All right. Prime example. Undertaker, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Highway to Hell,
right,
SummerSlam,
right,
fucking a compilation video.
yeah,
Boom. So
yeah.
like that was their like compilation video was gunship, and I was like, dude. To me, I was like, it's so different. Did he even step out and try something different that
Right.
like a lot of people might not listen to, and make it a compilation video?
And that might not be them. That might be whoever's
No,
producing
no,
that
no, no, no. It
particular
was. No, it
thing. Oh,
was.
it was. Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
cool.
I talked to. Then
I
that's
think you could easily do that with Fly for Your Life because it's literally like about.
dude.
Is that
Perfect.
what it
Right.
was?
Nope. But
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. He stole it.
you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. So, but like again, like if you have creative control and like the promoters are like, we trust you.
Right.
What do you want to do? What song? And like right now with SCW, I
Yeah.
kind of like they trust me in a point where I think that if I pitched a song or I pitched an idea
Yeah.
and like ran with it and like I have all the opportunity to go down and shoot promos fucking all day, all night. Once I get off work, I can go. I'm like, if I don't have my son, I go down the ring, shoot a promo,
Which is dope.
which is fun. It's great. And so, like, they are also trusting me with where the story goes. So
Right.
I kind of have creative control in my aspect of the story, not the show in
Right.
whole, but like where my story goes. And I'm like, or, you know, if I like, I was actually, it's so funny because that was brought up. Like I was listening to Gunship this week, and there was like
Yeah.
certain songs that I was like, bam, dude, that would hit so hard with a compilation video of all the stuff that I've been going through in this latest feud.
Well, okay. Shug comes over. The thing he shows me is like these people that are just singing songs like all the way through on UK. And it's what was the song?
Oh, I can't remember. Like what? Wait, what?
The fans are singing his
Oh
music.
yeah, dude. I don't even know if that was the UK, bro. I didn't even fucking look up what it
Oh,
was.
okay. I thought you said
So
UK. That's my bad.
so like, um, my buddy Jason Strife put up a video, and he was like, fans just need to come to shows and have fun and
Right.
like let loose.
Right.
So apparently at this show, these fans have come to realize, obviously, this wrestler's entrance song is like a prayer.
Oh, that's it. That's it. Like a prayer.
So they have ran with it so much that the entire crowd sings it,
Yeah.
which is so cool. Like I think that's so awesome.
Right.
Like, if the crowd is into your song and they know the words to your entrance song, which is tough because I come out to metal shit, but the beginning of my entrance song is a chant for
Right.
almost everywhere I work, but AAW. It's a chant. It's like whoa, whoa, and then if you
Yeah.
listen to the band do it live, they don't have to do it. It's the crowd doing it.
Right.
And the one time it happened was one of the last times I worked for CZW, where the crowd was like,
Mm.
whoa, and they were doing it. And I was like, this is what I've always fucking wanted. And like wrestling in front of SCW pro fans for this long,
Right.
it's not happened once.
But that leads me into what I wanted to kind of get to, which was this is what I always wanted because you want to be a fucking musician, bro. Literally, like,
It's true,
obviously,
dude. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah, you want to be in a band.
I do.
You want to be a
I
lead
want to
singer,
be basically Chris Jericho,
right?
but well, I can't even say cooler. Just as cool as Chris Jericho. As cool as Chris
Jericho would be like, he's so cool. He'd be like, everything you're doing is cool.
Dude, like I have yet to meet the guy, but apparently, one of my valets became a good friends with him and like showed him our stuff. So,
Yeah.
So he was knowing what she was doing as a valet,
Yeah.
and so he knows who I am already. Kind of, if he
Damn.
remembered. But that's crazy. When that was happening, I was like, she was like, "Well, Chris knows who you are, who you are now." I'm like, "What?"
No, he doesn't.
I was like, "No, he doesn't. He knows who you are."
Right. Right.
So, but if he does, that'd be awesome. But like guys like Cody Rhodes, with certain moves that he did later in WWE,
Yeah.
come to find out, my buddy Sammy Callahan was down there in developmental and showed him moves that I did.
Yeah.
And how that ended up in WWE, I was like, what
Oh,
the
you're saying there's some
fuck? I was like, oh, okay.
Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, no, it's all good though, because I stole it from a Japanese wrestler, so I can't even say that it was stolen from me. I can just say that I stole it first, and I never seen anybody else do it to this day besides Cody Rhodes.
So that's kind of, I like it that you said Japanese wrestler. It's true. A lot of the Japanese wrestlers did crazy stuff way before everybody. And why would that be? Is because they obviously were on the nail, and again, it was innovative wrestlers over there. Like I was trying to think about who the heck that Hulk Hogan of Japan has been, and now I feel like a douche because I can't remember.
Hang on.
He's got a big old square head. He's like
Yep.
he doesn't even look like a Japanese guy. He looks like an American guy. And I say that, obviously he looks Japanese,
he
but
almost looks like a Bruce Lee, and I'm getting it, and I've lost the name myself.
But he was always the promoter later on,
Yep.
and ushered in all these badass mother effers.
Yep.
Sakuraba, who was one of the best jiu-jitsu / judo guys, beat the shit out of a lot of American guys in Pride, and he was under his wing, I believe.
Right.
But either way, when you look at the guys that were doing things in Japan, I think it was more. You have to remember too that it's what they call strong style, I believe.
Yep.
And strong style Japan is exactly what I was talking about in the beginning. With you don't pause, you just grab. You grab and smash. Yep. If somebody's doing something you don't like, you just smash them.
No.
And a lot of guys did that for what they call the shoot, right? Like if you were wrestling Legion of Doom, and they didn't like what you did, they'd just smash you.
Yeah, dude. No, I actually watched this week, and my son was like, "Why are you watching this?" Like, he didn't get it because like when he watches pro wrestling, he doesn't differentiate when stuff gets real because he doesn't know.
Right.
So I watched an episode of When Pro Wrestling Gets Real, and what's his name, man, dude? Like he had that this Japanese wrestler. He had to work with a dude, American wrestler called like Dirt Bike Kid. So he was supposed to wear a mask. Dirt Bike Kid was supposed to wear a mask the entire match, and because he was so mad that he was about to get beat so quick.
Right.
Took his mask off and threw it down on the ground, and then I was like, all right, well, this is already off to a fuck start. So where does it go?
What a fucking dirt bike kid.
Right, exactly. So he's obviously the other guy is a fucking professional. I don't want to say it's Octagon, but damn it, dude. I don't know.
It's fine. If we don't remember it's because it wasn't meant to be remembered.
White headband with black everything, right?
Oh man, I don't know.
It's Octagon.
You're telling me something else.
I'm positive it's Octagon. We'll run with it. So it was Octagon, and during the match, Octagon's trying to work with this guy, and the guy's not calling anything to him, just picking him up, doing stuff, and like,
right.
But when he would do stuff, it was sloppy and shitty. It was terrible to the point where Octagon got up and was like, "Nah, I'm done playing these games." Gets up, hits the dude a few times, puts him down, and just starts fucking lighting him up with like real kicks.
Right.
Like kicking him fucking in the face, in the body, dropping knees. Like it got to the point where it was like he was soft at first. Dude wasn't selling. So
right.
Then he's like, all right, you don't want to fucking sell my shit. I'm going to fuck you up. Kicks him in the face a few times. And I'm like, deserved.
Right.
Fucking idiot. Doesn't get it. Doesn't know who he's in the fucking ring with.
Right.
Like, so Octagon, again, back to pro wrestling, knowing that we could fucking hurt people if we want to.
Right.
And people always forget that. They think pro wrestlers are just a bunch of pussies.
Which means push-ups.
Yes. So anyways.
With vaginas.
He hooks him in a front face lock, cranks his jaw to one side, and then underhooks and cups the back of his neck, which is basically a guillotine choke.
Right.
Without your fucking legs on him, and lifts him off the ground.
Yeah.
And dude's like tapping out instantly because his neck's about to fucking break or he's going to choke him out.
Mm-hmm.
So he's tapping out like crazy, goes to shake his hand, and he's like, no, fuck you. And I was like, yeah, dude, I would have done the same fucking thing. I'm like, go fuck yourself.
Right.
Like, so.
Well, Kurt Angle, he won with a broken freaking neck. So anyway, go ahead.
Broken freaking neck. But anyways, that dude was a bitch and like doesn't know how to work. You get in the ring. You seen that video? It's Antonio Inaki.
Yeah. That's what I was talking about.
Yes, that's who it is.
Gosh
Fucking
darn
hit
it.
me.
Why did I not remember
And you know what?
Onaki?
It's us talking about when wrestling got real.
Right.
He got in the ring with some fucking idiot.
He fought Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, he did.
A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah, leg shots, dude, all day.
Yeah.
Fucked him up. And fucked Muhammad Ali up. But anyways, besides that, he got in the ring with some fucking idiot who, again, when wrestling gets real, guy
Right.
didn't want to fucking work. So Antonio is fucking working with him.
Right.
And like, this is Bill Burr fucking put this on
Oh, okay.
YouTube. Like, like over the top. He's like, all right, obviously Antonio's trying to work with the guy, and the guy just doesn't want to work with him. He's not selling anything, not a fucking thing.
Yeah.
At one point, Antonio takes him down, soccer kicks this motherfucker in the face, dude.
Right.
Boom! Looks like a shotgun goes off, and I'm like, dude, fuck him. Fuck him. Like, at one point, if you ever get in the ring with a guy who wants to be a pro wrestler and doesn't want to be a pro, doesn't want to fucking work with you, fuck him. I don't give a shit.
Right.
I'm not saying hurt him, but what I'm saying is at one point, you need to
Right.
spark their brain with
Gotta
something.
be real.
It's got to be something. It's like, I don't care if the forearm's hard.
Right.
It's got to be there. And like, hey, it's time to work.
Well, let's put Johnny Knoxville in the Royal Rumble, and you know, again, we haven't learned our lesson from Steve-O.
No, apparently not.
So that's an exact correlation to what you're saying.
Oh, yeah.
When Steve-O was in there and he just stood up. Now again, selling, man, that's also, there could be feel there as well. You know, you think about Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, there's feel. He does a different sell than most. But there's also selling too much, right?
Yeah.
They're selling too little, they're selling too much.
Dude.
I'm just a fan. I don't know. I don't know.
All right.
I don't know shit.
There's
I'm
always
just talking about my anus.
You do know. You do know, and you know where I'm going to go with this. There is what we call the art of overselling.
Right.
Where it's to the point where you're kind of being a dick.
Right.
Especially with Shawn. And Shawn was doing it on purpose, and I'll say it as a worker. Shawn working with Hogan was overselling the fuck of everything because he wanted to like say a big fuck you to Hogan because he's like, dude, you don't want to do business?
Right.
I'll make everything so fucking hokey.
Yeah.
That everything you do is like, okay, cool, you win.
Yeah.
Like, I get it, but at the same time, it's like, you have to be on a big stage to do the shit that Shawn did.
Right.
You can't be one of these fucking dudes on an indie show and work with like an indie star and do something like that.
Well, what was really cool was Colbster was on Stone Cold Steve Austin's thing, and Broken Skull, which is pretty much what we're doing, but better because we're actually getting drunk, bitches. Anyway,
I would love to be on
Stone Cold kind of explains how he got shit done the way he wanted when he became a top star. He always was. He just didn't get that perfect timed thing that happened later.
Again, a guy,
timing, right?
A guy was technically amazing in the fucking ring, and that's why he got that shitty fucking ringmaster fucking name, and they gave him a mouthpiece that he didn't fucking need because
he was Stunning Steve.
That was WCW.
Oh shit, no, he was Stone Cold though.
Not till
he was gonna be a serial killer.
Well, yeah, that's where he got it from.
Right.
But anyways,
which that would have been awful too.
Well, what it meant was he just didn't give a flying fuck about your personal body. He didn't care. He would beat the living shit out of you,
right,
and have no emotion about it, which is cool and different. But when Steve came over, they thought he didn't. I guess Vince had no fucking clue and never watched any of his ECW fucking work of his promos, which were fucking to this day now. You watch them, they're like fucking awesome. You know why? Because it was real. He was
he's being himself.
Off. He was
authentic Texan.
And he was pissed off because of what fucking WCW did to him.
Right.
So again, like you just gotta find that. Sometimes there's a chip on your shoulder.
Right.
Fucking use it.
Well, what I was getting at was Stone Cold to explain how his dealings with Vince McMahon were,
Bruh.
and then kind of explained that they might be. I don't think he said this, but like Colbster said, basically that they were similar, and that Colbster's like, "Yeah, I'm not doing that." People don't say that to Vince McMahon.
No.
So,
No.
what's the intangible with WWE superstars is that they say no.
Yeah, I think so. I think
And that goes with the whole business. So if for some reason they came to you and said, "Shug, I need you to win this way," and then you thought it was stupid, you'd be like, "I think that's stupid."
Yep. I tell him, I'm like, no, I don't want to do that.
Right.
I think it's dumb for my character and his character. I think it makes us look stupid, and like I would say it, because nowadays everybody's a fucking yes man. Like, oh yeah, sure,
Right.
I'll do it. I don't care. And you know what? No, I'm done with that shit.
Right.
I'm at this age now where if you tell me to do something that I want to do,
Right.
I'm not going to do it. I'll do what I want to do,
Right.
and I'll have the guy I'm working with do the same thing. So, but also somehow still kind of make business. Like, I'll get back to where you want to go, but I'm going to do it in a smart way.
Mm.
I think that there's a lot of dumb things that sometimes bookers or promoters or writers think are going to work and they don't. But also, I've also been on the opposite side of the spectrum where I was brought into a company, ran through some dudes as a babyface, came across their mid card champion as a heel,
Right.
and was told I had to tap out to him. I was so fucking mad, dude. I was like, you're giving me this huge push, and then you're gonna make me fucking tap out to this dude. And like, I was so fucking mad in the locker room. I said something, but it was Mustafa Ali, who
Yeah.
is in the WWE or just getting ready to get released. He wants his release.
Right.
So Ali's like, and I'm fucking saying stuff in the locker room. I'm fucking mad, kind of being a baby about it, talking about it, and like he's like, dude, if you have a fucking problem with this, just come fucking talk to me in the locker room because I'm the fucking booker. And I'm like, all right, fine, let's go. And he goes, dude, what the fuck? Like, I'm like, you're giving me this fucking push, and then you're gonna cut my fucking nuts off and have me tap out
Yeah.
as a fucking baby face? Well, he was like, all right, yeah, I get your point, but what happens next month, it won't matter. And I'm like, really? Are you serious? And he was like, yep. So I'm like, okay, whatever. And he's like, if I'm wrong, you can call me a fucking asshole in front of everybody.
Right.
He didn't say it like that, but he was like, if I'm wrong, like, basically, like, you can tell me to fuck off. So I was like, okay. Went out and did business. Didn't want to because I fucking thought it was stupid.
Yeah.
But now when I think about it and step back, I said it to one of the students today. I said, when I step back and think about it today, anybody could be the baddest motherfucker in the world and get caught in a submission because that's real.
True.
And get fucking tapped out.
Yeah.
Like, it happens. So I sat back and thought about it now as an adult, like older, like, well, I was an adult then, but like as a smarter adult when it comes to stuff like that.
Yeah.
I got a standing ovation after I stood up after tapping out.
Nice.
And I was like, okay, didn't expect that.
Right.
So, like, I come into the locker room, and Ollie's standing there, and he's like, so what'd you think? I was like, I think you're right, man. And sometimes, but again, this is a pro wrestler
Right.
writing the fucking story. You know, these guys in the back are just bookmen, and then have to go back through Vince, and the Vince shoots down fucking everything.
Oh, he's probably shooting large.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. Like, just shitting on everything that anybody fucking pitches at him. So, like, it's completely different. But, like, again, though, like, if some fucking dude with WWE, again, that's probably why I would never get signed. Because I would be like, this is stupid. I'm not doing this. It's so fucking dumb.
Well, I mean, there's
Like, it doesn't
there's
matter.
a lot of things that I would say, especially with that story. What a lot of people don't know is every girl in that crowd obviously went home with you,
Jesus.
and
Here we go.
nobody here is gonna say no to that. They said, "Oh, the Shug's here. Let's go to that hotel room."
Wow.
And Shug paid for it all. Like, he had all the money that
You gotta
time.
stop trying to work this podcast right now. We're not working anybody. But for real though, nope. I just drove an hour and a half home.
I think with WWE especially, that's the Federal Reserve of wrestling, dude.
Yeah,
You're not gonna crack
right.
that.
You're right. You're right, dude.
You're literally gonna get what you get, and that's what you get.
Yep.
And the only time that you get something that you don't really expect is probably because, well, somebody got in the ear of the person, right? So
Right.
Vince McMahon is Vince McMahon. He's gonna control that whole thing. It'd be really awesome for me, especially as a musician, to like just kind of see the innard of the WWE, to go to that place and just kind of see how it works. Just because like I do respect that they have like the same guy made the music for the longest time. That's
Dude, yeah,
super
for
cool.
real, he did.
And I would like to see the studio in which he used everything. But like also just, going down there to see how much they've evolved, and they did. Obviously with Colbster, he went down to FCW, but then became NXT.
Yep.
And NXT is basically Full Sail, which is a college
Yeah.
down in Florida, and Full Sail will basically start your career if you're trying to get into entertainment and you like get hands-on experience. So it's like it's just they have a whole 360 on the entertainment thing.
Yeah.
But let's do more parallels with music, because there's we just dealt with feel that whole time, and we talked about technicality, because there's people that are technically amazing, but they never became a Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Right. True. Okay. So a guy like D. Malenko,
Right. Man of 1,000 holes.
just amazing in the ring.
Right.
Nobody could. His work in the ring,
Right.
just fucking his foot placement. That's again, that's this wrestler talk. Like, it was nothing wasted. Everything
Right.
meant something. You weren't just a busybody to be a busybody, which fucking drives me nuts right now with wrestling. If you're gonna be a busybody, it's gotta lead to something that fucking means something. Otherwise, I'm just doing a bunch of stuff to blow myself up to get to nothing that I could have done 2 minutes ago. It's retarded.
Right.
So it's stupid. A D. Malenko
Yeah.
never was the biggest fucking star in pro wrestling. But
Right.
he had a job with WWE for so fucking long. For
Right.
a reason.
Right.
Because he was
Wrestling
that
mind.
fucking good. He
Yeah.
was that good. And like Jamie Noble, an agent for WWE, same reason. Jamie Noble, dude, for so long people just saw Jamie Noble is his WWE stuff and like a little bit of WCW stuff. I watched him on the indies.
100%.
Dude, that dude,
We both did.
that guy is so fucking good. Like,
Right.
so good. Like, people just don't know. And there's a reason he still has a job as an
Right.
agent, because his footwork, his foot placement, nothing is wasted, and it means something.
Right.
And I don't know, sometimes I think it's lost on wrestling, especially with, I'll say it, sorry, even if I want a job with you, AEW. Foot placement, busybodies to get to nothing that means nothing.
Right.
Sorry. It's.
I haven't watched it yet, so I'm not going to talk shit. I will talk shit, though, because I'm not trying to get a job there unless they're trying to have one of my bands that are
Right.
in my head that haven't come out yet.
You just produce all the music. How about that?
I'll produce the music. I'm very non-biased. I think when you look at the whole aspect of music and wrestling, it's very similar. We were just talking about technicality. We're talking about the fact that there are have been in the past technical wrestlers that were the best. You said Steve Austin. He literally was a technical wrestler.
Yes.
What is technicality? That's literally exactly what we're talking about, where you don't stop grabbing somebody, you manipulate them or they manipulate you. And if they're not manipulating you, meaning they're green as grass,
Right.
you make them do that.
Right.
Meaning you're so good, you wrestle a broomstick.
Right.
That's always been the thing with HBK. He's so good, he'll wrestle a broomstick. It's because he'll tell the broomstick to do something to him.
Right.
Right. That's the art of dancing, right? Which is that you talk to the other person, but
which is actually a real thing in like
right,
competition
dancing.
dance.
Yeah, competition dancing. So when you look at that, there's aggression in that. There's also a field to that where it's not aggression, where it's actually just kind of finesse. And sometimes I would say like 90% of that's probably preordained, meaning set up,
Well, you
spot,
know,
right?
like again, you know
Right,
the movements,
right,
and then it's called.
right. It could be
Like I was
called,
talking about with Owl.
right, right,
So,
which is amazing. It shows the years that somebody's done this. I mean, because it's usually experience. I'm not saying always the experience, because there's people like Kurt Angle that come in with a wealth of knowledge of just how to control a human.
right.
And really all they have to do, this is obviously not chilling, it's not true, but I just like to say it. He just has to not wrestle.
Right. Not
To wrestle.
actually, not
You know what I'm
actually
saying?
Try to grab you,
Not
take you
let
down.
you, or let you take him down, basically.
Right.
Is what I'm saying. And again, same with MMA. It's like Ronda Rousey going to pro wrestling. She just has to not really beat the shit out of you.
Right.
But she's amazing too, because she knows how to hold that back and still kind of look like a badass. But there's still aspects of that where I almost want her to be real,
Yeah.
because it's, and again, I haven't watched a lot of it, so
She's
I'm kind of talking shit without one.
a lot of stuff that she's done, and it's no disrespect for her. It's just they put her in the limelight way too fast.
Right.
Like Kurt still went through developmental. Like he still like you know the story of why he was doing stuff with ECW. You know that, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And then
So,
they
like,
did the Raven thing.
Yep.
And, yeah, I know that.
Which means that Kurt was learning pro wrestling through those guys anyway.
Right.
Especially, I'm assuming he was working with Taz because Taz is more on the shoot side, new
Right.
stuff. That's just me assuming. I don't know the story.
Well, he put him over. Did he
yeah.
not?
Yeah, he did.
I mean, it was amazing.
So, I'm again like Kurt was developed, even
Right.
though he knew stuff. It wasn't like I feel like Rhonda never really like they threw her in developmental, but she wasn't down there for long enough because they wanted to steamroll
Right.
her celebrity. Like
Right.
they wanted to fucking be on top of it. It wasn't like Kurt Angle was. Kurt Angle was Olympic star. Cool, we get it. We understand. A lot of us watched it.
Yeah.
But a lot of us didn't. It's not like UFC. UFC was fucking huge, so they wanted to capitalize on Ronda's fucking celebrity
Right.
more than her ability to actually be ready.
Yeah.
So it was different in that sense. And I think Ronda fucking loves pro wrestling. Don't get me wrong, she fucking loves it. And like
Yeah,
called
she's
herself-
always
she
been a
called
fan,
herself
right?
Ronda Rowdy Roz or whatever.
Yeah, because she was
loved-
on podcast with Rowdy Piper.
Yeah,
Because
and it was her dad's favorite wrestler.
Piper was doing a podcast that I actually liked. I can't remember what he called it, but it's just been that long, and I listened to it at work. But he was really good. He was getting. I mean, he's a great orator, man. That
Dude,
guy.
Yeah.
But he would put people on there I didn't expect, and I think one of them was Rhonda. And again, it was like he was into MMA as well. And why is that weird? Shouldn't be, because he
No,
was pretty much
definitely
a
not.
shoot. He could
Yeah.
beat the shit out of like half the
Oh,
locker
yeah.
room, and a lot of
Oh,
people
yeah.
don't talk
Yeah.
about that.
A lot of dudes had to learn to be badasses for real. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Roddy Piper was a Golden Gloves boxer.
Right. He was a
So-
boxer. He was a wrestler, an
Yeah.
actual wrestler,
Yeah.
in the sense that he knew amateur wrestling.
The real style.
I like how it's called amateur wrestling.
I know it's hilarious, right?
way
so
way
to
hard.
me, I keep calling it folk style because that's what
Folk, yeah.
Folk style is like high school wrestling, but then there's the Greco-Roman. There's a lot more.
Greco-Roman, yeah.
So like I've always called
Freestyle.
it freestyle, and I've always called it like folk style because that's
It's
what
actually
people,
called Catch as Catch Can.
yes, catch can, yeah. And I actually follow that on. There's a
Josh Barnett.
yes, Josh
Yeah.
Barnett, yeah,
Yep.
dude, like, yeah. By the way, he still does his blood.
He's a pro
sport
wrestler.
stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got to work with Mox. That was kind of cool to watch, like how you do the certain styles to still try to make
Right.
it. Like he does that Prime stuff. Like it's not Prime, but it was same kind of era.
Oh, Pride FC?
Pride, yeah.
Pride FC, he was one guy who never got to fight Fedor Emelianenko. Go take a pee, bro. All right, we're taking a pee. I can stop at any time. So, talking about Josh Burnett.
Josh Burnett, yes. Dude, I don't know if you've seen any of it. He does a thing with I think the company it's GCW. At least, yes, it's GCW. He does a thing called Bloodsport.
Yeah.
Where he'll have the ropes taken down and like work that almost shoot style, where to the point where it's like, is this real or not? Like I have no idea. And it's really cool to watch because like the fact that people are actually embracing that style, especially our generation, because like a lot of us are so in touch with of like go, like constantly running, going,
Right.
going. So like these guys are like grabbing you and like trying to really like get you in holds and stuff.
Right.
So like people like Norman Smiley, if you go back and watch shit like that, Norman Smiley was a bad motherfucker, dude.
Yeah, he's looked
Bad
at.
shit.
He's very well respected within the wrestling community. Like people I didn't like expect to say it. Mick Foley in his
Right.
book gives him a lot of props. It's like, you have these people that are a strong mind and completely different what they do as far as their psychology,
Right.
and then like they're similar. It's just he awoke a lot of people to become like assholes.
Right.
In a sense, he, it's not an asshole-ish. What's asshole-ish is to be stiff and potato somebody, right?
Right.
So,
Reason,
but
right.
Especially if you don't like know the person, it was that's going to be shitty. I think one thing I'm thinking about when that happened, maybe is like when I watched. It was Mike. He was wrestling Alpha and Sika, and I don't remember where this was. This is obviously early on,
Right.
and those guys were so huge, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Alpha and Sika are like 6'6",
Yeah.
and they're like 500 pounds. And I'm like watching the match. It was a great match.
Yeah.
It was a tag team match. I don't remember. I think it was Buff Enough. I think it was Buff Enough.
It was Mikey.
But when I watched it, I'm going, they're going to potato the shit, out of them, and they didn't.
Nope.
Because Mike was stiff.
Yeah.
When I was backyard wrestling him, Mike was probably the stiffest. Colbster was stiff.
Mikey.
But he literally knocked me out the one time. But I think he just wanted to take control of the match, so he knocked me out.
Oh, it doesn't.
He literally punched me in the face as hard as he could. After a table bump in the ESW, like we both got up at the same time, or maybe I don't remember, but I just remember walking forward and he just like straight up punches me in the face, and I don't think I was in a knockout. It was just a flash knockout where you're like ding. Anyway, so Alpha and Sika, they're so much bigger than Mike, and Mike's just bumping for him, and I think they just like within 2 minutes were like, I like this kid because he's just bumping everywhere for him.
And he didn't. Mike is that guy who never once would like. I mean, and nowadays you want to protect yourself, but like Mike would like. You're gonna hit me with a spin, like big spin super kick. Okay, fuck it, just take it full force right to the face. No hand up, nothing, dude. Like, and it
no hair there because he's Homer Simpson. But go ahead.
It looked like $1,000,000 fucking bucks. You know why?
Yeah.
Because Mike basically kissed his fucking foot when it was spinning around and kicking him in the face.
Right.
And because of that, I don't know
Right.
if you know this part.
No.
Ian Rotten was at that show.
Oh yeah, that was
Yeah, that's what
IAW,
he
right? IAW.
that was here, bro. And Ian was on the show for I don't remember what it was.
Yeah.
Ian Rotten was here doing some stuff. Rude Boy was here. Rude Boy faked a heart attack that fucked up the rest of the show. So me and
Hmm.
Colby were supposed to do like a main event, and the
Okay.
show like it fucked the show up. Like a lot of people left because they thought it was real. So
That sounded familiar now.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
I do remember there was
Yeah.
a hospital situation, and I was like, "What the fuck is this? Nobody's here. It's looking bad."
Right.
Okay.
So, anyways, Colby, like being Colby, he doesn't care who you are. Walked up and was like, "Bro, that was fucked up." He's like, "What do you mean, man? What do you mean?" He's like, "Dude, they're fucking people are leaving now.
Right.
Like, they thought what you did was real, so people are fucking leaving, and a real ambulance showed up, and you fucked everything up." And like the fact that Colby was green as goose shit,
Yeah.
and I was barely getting into training at that point too.
Right.
So Mikey we weren't even in training yet, and Ian's trying to book him for IWA. We weren't even in fucking training yet, just because how fast Mike was good in the ring and like was there with shit. It
Right.
just had the small things that you needed, especially as a heel. Mike was really good at getting heat and being an asshole in the ring. I don't know
Right.
if that was us growing up. Who knows? I don't know. But
Well, and again, he has
shitty personality.
Mike
Just
Shifrick.
kidding. Just kidding.
No, I think what he did was he probably took my advice. A lot of it was, and again, he didn't take my advice. He did what he wanted to do. But I'm
Right,
saying,
of
like,
course.
I talk to him all the time. Like, hey, listen, dude, when you go out there and you dance, be just as overt as you can be,
Yeah.
and just be obnoxious. Because he would just come out there and start dancing on a grandma and shit. And that's what we did, because we literally have the same grandma. And like we'd entertain our grandmas. Well, I'm just like, that's one
I get you,
example.
I get you.
There's so many things that Mike did that was like, because me and him are so silly that it's the silliness factor is through the roof with the Ineichens. But me and him, we would always try to one up each other. And I swear to God, I've never pissed my pants publicly unless I was drinking. Sober.
Drinking sober.
No. Sober, I was at that show
Yeah.
and Mike started dancing and I literally pissed myself a little bit because it was so funny. I had never seen anybody, and there was guys like, "What are you doing?" They'd get so mad at Mike. And then like Regal is just like allowing it, like, yeah, do it.
Yeah, dude,
Amazing.
your ass.
Amazing gimmick. I don't know that anybody else ever will ever do what I seen in a very small Donahue, Iowa.
Dude, no, that was in fucking Davenport at the fucking Armory, bro.
I mean, it was too, yeah.
No,
But I'm just saying.
that match was at the Armory.
Okay. You're reminding me because my memory's so bad. But yes, I'm just saying it was in Donahue as well. But buff enough,
Maybe,
right?
yeah. Well, they've done all their stuff everywhere, but
Yeah, he met Megan there. I mean,
Yeah.
that's,
Yeah.
Anyway. So the whole scenario, though, it kind of boils down to what I was saying about music is there's parallels.
Oh, yeah.
And the parallels are not as, easy to see if you're just the layman and you're just going to see a show. Obviously with music is a little more, it's just easier, to know what you're hearing and seeing. If you're at a metal show, you're at a metal show.
Right.
If you're at a funk show, you're at a funk show. But, more and more I see the mixing between the music, the genres, right? I see that, you can do that. There's plenty of bands around here that do one genre and then they jump into the other. You never had to do that. When we grew up, if you did something different, you're a poser. You remember that? Do you remember that word?
Right. All the time.
Yeah. Is that happening in wrestling? Poser?
Dude, that word is almost like.
Is it poser?
It's not been thrown around at all. Like,
Oh, okay.
because realistically, if we're not gonna be, I'm gonna be completely transparent here. We're all posers.
Right.
Like I'm gonna play like I'm a badass, and I fucking go to do a fight with an MMA fighter.
I
It's
see.
gonna
I see.
fuck my world up. Like
Right.
so, we're all transparent in that sense of like, um, yeah, dude. Like we're all posers in a way, but like if I think
Well, no. Okay, so there's a little difference there. So
You mean, like-
within the industry, so we recognize that the industry is obviously
we're
entertainment.
yes, yes.
So no, poser would be
You're talking about somebody.
like you, right?
Yes, yes,
That is this metal guy.
right.
All of a sudden says,
Nope.
nope, I'm actually not that guy
I'm
at
gonna
all.
Rick roll this shit,
And then you dye your hair blonde or something.
dude. I might.
Cody Rhodes.
No, it's funny because we were talking about it with one of my buddies, Ryan. He's a
Yeah.
referee. John G, amazing fucking referee. I'm gonna
Yeah.
say it, amazing referee.
Yeah.
He was like, bro, like, what if they turn you heel? I was like, dude, I'll come out in everything I wear always.
Right.
My musical start is gonna change into Rick Astley. Never gonna give you up. He was like, bro, that's called
Yeah.
Rick rolled. You know that.
Literally,
Like,
Rick
I'm
rolled.
gonna Rick roll the fuck out of everyone if they turn me heel.
That'd be dope.
Change nothing. Come out in the mask and just sing it with my mask because my mask moves.
I've always said too, though, there's so many aspects of wrestling that literally introduce itself to originality. So say for instance, like you might not change at all,
No.
but you can have somebody that tags along with you that changes you.
Yes.
So what's cool is having a guy like a really good orator, right?
Right.
Who just joins your fray and does it in a unique way, and then all of a sudden you're original now.
Yep.
So it's like pro wrestling is like there's so many different things. Like okay, I'm going to be hypothetical. Okay. Colby's character right now is being, I think it's because from what I've seen is only literally 2 weeks. So sorry, Colster.
Right.
But you'd appreciate that. I've been busy with having a baby and whatever. But Colby's character is a lot more like cowardly and he laughs more and doesn't care, and he's a cowardly heel, literally.
Right.
And that's really cool. But when you look at examples in the past of cowardly heels, and I'm not saying that this is going to happen because I don't care, but I'm just bullshit. Some of them fizzle pretty quick, right? Because cowardly heels is really hard to do, but he's doing it really well. He's doing it at a 10. But what happens if you just added an element? But what would be the element? You're right.
Well, I mean,
so that's where you're booking the territory.
You already said it. I mean, this is Shawn Michaels.
Right. Diesel.
He needs a fucking diesel, bro.
Well, and so they did that with AJ. And what was
they did.
What was crappy with was his name? He's a huge dude. That's with AJ.
Oh, I can't remember his name. Big ass dude. You're talking about that big ass guy they put him with? I can't remember his name, dude. This is what happens when you don't watch the show.
Well, I did watch, and I should remember, but it was like Uma or something like that.
Okay.
I probably fucked it up. Uma?
I don't know.
Anyway, Uma. So this huge fucking guy. But here's what's different is Kevin Nash was a star before he was even a pro wrestler. He is just a charismatic fool. They literally called him Big Daddy Cool because he was just cool in real life.
That's why.
So Shawn Michaels talked about just how cool he was. Shawn Michaels in their new WWE thing that I actually watched because I have Peacock was explaining how Kevin Nash explained to him how to talk to girls. That tells me
I've never seen that before.
Watch it. It's called HBK and Diesel or something like that.
Right.
And it's like WWE Focus or something. There's so many things. Right. But when I heard that, I go, oh, that's cool. That's cool because he's actually cool. So it literally was like him being him.
Yeah.
And again, who is Uma or whatever the fuck his name is? He's not that. So if if you look at what would have to happen for Colby to Colbster, Seth Rollins. Sorry, I call him Colbster. I just do.
No,
I
it's all
don't
good,
care.
dude. No, that's to us. That's who he is.
Like, he would have to find somebody who's super cool and know that maybe he's greener than goose shit, but he's just gonna be something and let me craft him.
Right.
And that's exactly what happened with HBK. So
Yeah.
with him though too, he's doing great. Of course, he's like, we're talking about somebody who's literally doing great, but like we're just shooting the shit.
Right.
As I said, booking the territory. But with you, obviously there's so many things you can do because you literally have creative control.
Exactly.
And I think, I've always talked shit and I'd get to a drunken point and I'm going to talk about the wheelchair.
Yep. I knew that was
I'm not going to do it, but I'm just saying there's so many things that you could do by getting real.
Yeah, dude.
And you're a real human.
Why do you think any of the local stuff has always been over? Because people come to these shows and they know who you are, and sometimes they know you outside of the ring too.
Right.
So, like the stuff where I got to work with Colby, and we did a whole story where he wouldn't hit me. He just wouldn't hit me because he looked at me as his little brother. Or later on in a promo, he said, and he was like, "Dude, do you think it'd be okay if I brought this up about your dad dying?" And I was like, "No, man. I think it'll pull people in because at this point, these people know us."
Right.
So he was like, "When your dad died, I couldn't be there, but I felt like I needed to take on that role," and we were told to not cuss. So I come through the locker room, and at Don's Pub, like, you don't need a microphone.
Right.
So I'm yelling, "You shut the fuck up. You don't ever fucking bring up my dad." Like, that's
what you do in real life.
So, exactly.
Right.
So it gets to the point where people like Ben Stock was in the crowd, and I grab the microphone and I go, "You're so fucking lucky I don't break your huge fucking nose right now for bringing up my father.
Right.
You're a piece of shit." And I threw the microphone at his chest and I got out of the ring. And Ben was like, "Dude, I thought that shit was fucking real." Like, he was like, "Dude, I got goosebumps because I know you both." And like, I was like, "All right, cool. If it hit you, I know they all fucking felt it."
Right.
So sometimes when it's local and it real, and you bring in real, that shit works, man. Like with Eddie and Ray, and Ray, Dominic,
Eddie and Ray.
Dominic is now in fucking pro wrestling.
So that to me is, in music terms, feel.
Yes.
What you just said. So I think we finally figured it out.
Full circle.
Feel is just real.
Real.
It's like you being actually you and saying, "Hey, I'm this guy who's actually sarcastic in real life," and or maybe if you're just like an asshole, and you just turn it up to 11 and you become who you are.
A real aggressive asshole, yeah.
Right. And we could talk about it for days. I think we should say, that we're obviously, this is our first episode
wow, how
of Wrastlin with music. I don't know, probably at least.
I really like that, Wrastlin with music.
Wrastlin with music and life. Perfect. Or just wrestling with music?
Music and life.
I think wrestling with music, and I'll tell you what the inside joke was about that. Every time we wrestled in the beginning without being trained, what did we wrestle to?
Music.
Yeah.
It's perfect, dude.
It is.
It's fucking perfect.
Literally, we EHW wrestled with just music.
I'm drunk right now. I will not lie. I'm drunk.
He's not drunk. He drank only enough for this party.
New Jack. Sorry. New Jack.
Right. Which is what he's going to do when he goes home.
Yes. Yeah, for real. New Jack would come out. He would come out through his whole fucking match. Yeah. His entrance song would play.
Okay.
Well, that was ECW too. Like that was the one guy that got to do that though.
Well, no, I'd say obviously I've seen plenty where our boy Inner Sandman.
No, the fucking whole song played, but like he was in the ring after it was over,
right.
and then had the match.
Okay.
Not
I see
the
what you're
same-
saying.
Not the same thing.
All
New
right.
Jack's song fucking played
Yeah.
until the match was over.
Maybe we'll get New Jack on. Or wait, is he dead?
You cannot. Yeah, he's dead.
Damn it!
So that makes me an asshole for mistaking his name and who.
Sorry,
he
New
was
Jack.
Again.
See, that sucks.
We gotta
to
chop
think.
that up, bro.
We don't have to chop shit. We'll be fine. Everything we said tonight are two real people. Authenticity is the key of this podcast. Every time you meet us, we're going to be like this. I've never not been like this. I've always chopped it up with everybody I meet. My man here, Shug, and I want to say that this was a good first episode to explain kind of what we want to do because honestly, especially it was just kind of about talking. The only theme I had tonight, and not theme, but
just
was
outline basically.
What do we call this? And then I think we just defined it, and that's called calling it in the ring, brother.
Exactly. With that feel.
The feel is still something I want to talk about more. And I want to have another musician on here. Like maybe Lyndon.
Yeah.
Lyndon would be really good to talk to about what I was trying to go with music realty, not theme. It's they call it feel, they call it technicality, they call it and then talking about wrestling. And he's watched wrestling. I don't know if he still does.
No,
but
he came to a show, and I'm gonna throw you on the bus, dog. But he came to the show, and I don't know. I think he did shrooms, bro. And he was like, bro,
he is shrooms,
dude. Yeah, right. Like that whole
his body, he's just shrooms now.
So he was like, bro, that was so fucking awesome. Like I was like, cool, man. I really liked. I felt like I fucking performed like shit that night. But he's like, dude, everybody was so fucking into you and everything you were doing. And I was like, okay, maybe that's true. I guess. But he was like, dude, this was fucking awesome. And, he comes with another chick. Well, he did at that time. I don't know if I think once Lyndon gets with a woman, he strays away from being female friends with females, I think. Well,
which should be normal, I suppose.
Sometimes, yeah.
If you're a faithful male.
But I mean, if you're just friends with them, what's the fucking problem, right?
Oh, I don't know. Is that a problem?
No.
Lyndon, is that a problem, you bitch? Probably not.
No, but maybe,
I think he's doing great.
No, I think he's doing great, and good for him.
No, I just talked to him through text.
Right.
But yeah, I've always wanted to do something with him, no matter what, because he's literally a very charismatic fool who is an orator. Is that a word though? I have used that like 3 times. I'm gonna keep using it. Orator. Sounds sexual now.
I have no idea, but it sounds awesome.
Lyndon, be my orator with Shug. It's still wrestling with music. Screw LNL and F&A, you bitch.
Oh my god.
Now, I like LNL and F&A if it's me, Lyndon, and Alicia like we did before. But we just never had this. Now I have this technology. It's so easy. I have it literally at my fingertips.
Right, you do.
And it's something anyway. So we look at that. We were just trying to, create something because you can create something out of nothing. I think that's what pro wrestling is. I think that's what music is. So music and wrestling are creating something out of nothing.
Right.
Okay. In the middle of nowhere, you can do it.
Yep.
Anybody can do it. Anybody should do it if they really want to. I feel like we've watched a lot of people that have done it that didn't really want to, and it was, kind of apparent, right? So I just think that this podcast is going to evolve, whatever it is. But it's 2 people, especially me. I'm continuing to write. I'm in music, no matter what. I think another thing a lot of people forget about is music is very brotherly as well, like pro wrestling. I help out my brothers, they help out me, right?
Oh yeah.
And guess what? This is the spoiler alert. Me and Shug are trying to be in a band together, boys and ladies.
Ooh, get there. That's coming. Just saying.
I've been working on a song for quite some time. I am a perfectionist male, and
Yes,
you know,
you are.
I'm getting better, and I've gotten better through doing something with nobody. Because I feel like when I think for others, I don't progress as much. But when I think for just myself, this is very egotistical, by the way, with what I'm saying. But it is sometimes you have to remember that the pursuit of anything is self-ish.
Yes, it is.
And sometimes that selfish can become selfless, which just means that you don't have an ego involved. And so what I'm trying to do is do a selfish thing, and it's making me better in mixing and mastering by myself without having anybody else's help. That is making me also say, okay, now I know how I do a project that I cannot name yet. I think that's going to be
Which will make you.
well, it's going to be an episode itself.
Right.
Music is pretty selfless. You have to this is a big thing too. I want to say for the next episode, we're earmarking it. Hopefully, didn't bore all of you fools.
Hopefully.
Um,
Hope
yeah.
not.
If I did bore you, I'm sorry, but I'm not because I don't care. We'll have you on the podcast.
Sorry.
And you can tell us how we suck. So no. I feel like we have a very similar thing in that we also want to be in a band together.
Yes.
And so that is going to help me evolve that.
Yep.
If that makes sense.
No. Yeah.
And this is going to help steer, no pun intended, bruh, the shit ship of a different project that we're trying to do. And again, most of what we say and how we say it is very adult. And again, I think pro wrestling still is pretty adult, and I love the pro wrestling that's adult. I kind of just go for the others, and I've been like that because of the Attitude Era. You ruined me, Vince McMahon, Vince Russo, whoever wrote that. You guys were the best, and now, in my sense, I hear and see my brother, literally, Colbster, and I see a guy who does curse in real life because he's a real adult male, and I just want to hear him say what he wants to say. Say what you mean to say.
If he could actually just talk the way he talks, bro.
Well, think about it. Think about it. Let me take your point, and you'll agree. If all wrestlers could talk
for real,
the way they talk. By the way, what do you think HBK did with the Click?
Oh, yeah, he did not hold back, bro.
Did they talk the way they talk?
Yeah.
Literally, he interrupted Vince McMahon in an interview a few times when Vince McMahon didn't tell him to do that.
Right.
That's balls.
Right.
Right? But that's also a character who says, I am the best. Literally, I'm the best, and I believe it.
Yeah.
Ric Flair didn't care when the camera was on. He was already Ric Flair before he got there. And when he left, who was he?
Ric Flair. Always Ric Flair, baby.
All right. On that note, man, we're gonna end this episode because I think that we've done what we were gonna do.
Yeah.
And I feel like
it's a taster.
It's a teaser.
Taster. No, you get the taste.
Oh, tell me about the taste.
A little taste.
Oh.
Do you really want to taste it?
I don't know what that is.
No?
What is that?
You haven't watched Peacemaker yet.
No.
Not John Cena's show, dude. It's fucking huge right now.
Oh, I haven't watched it yet.
No.
Yeah, you just told me about it, but I haven't watched it yet.
So you'll never skip the intro ever.
Right.
Watch.
Okay, I will.
And then we'll talk about that, because as soon as you watch the intro, that's the first thing I'm going to bring up on the next episode.
You're just seeing it live, even though it's not live.
Not live.
We will be live.
Eventually.
You just seen us do what is our first episode, and I think we're going to call it Wrastlin with Music. So we just made it up as we were going.
Yep.
Called it on the fly, brother. And we are brothers, and we've been brothers since 2001.
We knew the
2000. I don't know.
We knew the finish, and we got there. We went home, brother.
It's time for the home. Thank you, Shug. Thank me.
Yeah, thank you, Logan. You fucker. I love you, brother. I love you. Thank you.
And till next episode, love you.